Hi, and welcome to Thursday with a Friend. My name is Lawrence, Larry, Punk, so many other things that I'm sure people call me behind my back and maybe even to my face. Who knows? Anyway, on this Thursday, I have a special guest, a guy that wasn't going to be able to do it because at one time he was doing a show on Thursday. But as we all know, life takes place when we're not really making money doing YouTube, and he freed himself up. He let me know right away that he would be available. This was months ago because, as some of you have found out, I will plan these 2 to 3 months ahead of time because I have this weird fear that I won't have someone. So, anyway, uh, I think that's more than enough to say. Next is my special, special guest, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are y'all tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
You know what? You were in the chat. I don't remember when it was. You were in one of the chats, and you were talking about when you were a prison guard.
Kenzo.
And Kenzo, yes, because Kenzo is a prison guard, and I was just like, these are some interesting stories because, uh, I fix copy machines as we've talked about before, and we've had a facility for years now. I've never seen anything really happen. I know about going back in the pods, but I also used to train at a gym that there were these 3 big security guards for the prison, and I would hear some of their stories, and it's crazy. Like that stuff is crazy.
That is the understatement of the century.
Yeah, and I've talked to
Yeah.
I mean, I've been walking through these, because I have to be escorted
Yeah.
to the juvenile facility, and you're talking to some of these guys, and you're like, you can see which ones are going to be here for the rest of their lives. Maybe not here, but are going to be in here, and you can see which ones actually just screwed up, and they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
I need to fix my life because this is not what I want.
Yep.
And that was it. Like I'm like, dude, you have a story here. That's what I look for in all of these because
Yeah.
you can sit here and have a conversation. I don't want to talk toys all the time. It gets boring. It gets mundane. Let's be honest. How many of us are doing shows just talking about toys? Eventually,
Right.
you're like, is there anything else in your life?
That's why I stopped altogether with toys. I just I looked at it. I went, there's 100,000 other people doing a better job than me. What do I like to do? I like to play video games and bullshit. So
that's the biggest thing. It's finding something that you enjoy, but also something that you have a passion for, and people see it in you. There are a lot of people that do shows, and you can see that it's hard for them to grow. And a lot of times it's just because people don't find them all that interesting. And it doesn't mean they're not bad, they're not good people. It doesn't mean they're not doing a good job. It just means that there's something that isn't working. We see it in
something's not something. Yeah.
yeah, we see it in radio shows all the time. We see it in late night talk shows, Magic Johnson. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a bad example.
Or Chevy Chase. Was that one episode?
I think he had more than that, but not many.
Yeah. Oof. That was rough.
The Chevy Chase show, the Magic Johnson hour, I think is what it was.
It was so bad.
Once again, proven you can be a great basketball player or great at something and not be good at other things.
It's
Michael
true.
Jordan, all right? You were the greatest basketball player ever. You aligned yourself to make probably the greatest sub brand of shoes ever. But God forbid you try and run a franchise. God forbid you try and own a franchise, play baseball. You're just not that good at it.
You just don't do that. Just don't do that.
When you have that much money, does it even matter? You're like, you know what? I'm going to try this. If I suck at it, I suck at it, right?
And I'm going to hire somebody who can do it better than I can.
Or you just sell the team and you make $1 billion. That's not that bad either.
No, that's a good time. Is what that is.
He sold the Charlotte Hornets, and I think he sold it for $150 million. Was it?
Jesus Christ!
Because he wasn't the full owner, so I think
Still,
Yeah.
Jesus, 150 million for.
Yeah, and well, he's already making like 150 million, I think, from Nike every year.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, not that bad, right? Not that bad.
right.
So
Retired
anyway,
sports,
let's
guy.
say hi to the chat really quick. And the first one that we have here is my moderator, Matthew Matson, with his nerds thing. And you know what? I have something for that. It's not even going to make you do a super chat because, well, you're the moderator and I don't pay you. We have Jeff here, which you're right there. GI Bro, who has the best guns in the business. Another person I'm looking forward to seeing once again at Ju5t, Machine Man, SES Dog. We have Menhoza. We have Woody 222 saying, "What up, people?" Punk and Jeffy. And, you know, just because he's Jeff, just because he's Woody, and we know what he loves so much, and that's the. And also because I keep telling him I'm gonna get rid of the wet fart, and I don't. We got Ray Black. Did I say that right?
Is that looks what Ray Black? Yeah.
Dude, I've said your name 100 times, and all of a sudden you have this total blank of like, why am I not saying it right? But I am.
We are now dubbing you Phil.
Rowdy Riles, who will be a guest next month. We have Denzins. Do you know this person?
I do.
Okay, I don't believe I've ever seen them, so thank you for joining. Am I saying that right?
Denzins.
Yeah, just like it looks.
So he's from South America, and he just got a big care package from all of us from Figure Fight Club, and he's really into Red Hood, the superhero Red Hood.
Oh well, then him and my son would get along great because my son loved Red Hood for a very long time. I'm not sure if he's still into it so much because now he just plays video games. We have 610 Yo Joe Daddy. I still get creeped out every time I read that, even though I know
leave out the daddy part.
Thank you. It's not. I'm glad it's not just me. The whole daddy thing, just especially when you're
Jeff too.
We have Four Feathers jumping in here. We have the Toy Elite Network, who we will see. We'll see him change his name in a little bit. I kind of laugh because I knew that he doesn't like that. He's asking, what are we talking? This is all about Jeff tonight. So we're going to get all into Jeff very shortly. But I got to say hi to everyone. We have Bill Lionaire. I swear I'll get that right. It's so easy, but you know what it's like when you're doing this. You start reading.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. And here we have him, Action Figs. That is the Toy Elite Network. That is one of my moderators. And if you guys don't know, they kind of rebranded his channel where they do their show to the Toy Elite Network. And then he made just another channel so he can be Action Figs because that's how everyone knows him. And I think it's actually a real smart idea. So now everyone knows it. Yeah, everyone knows it as the Toy Elite Network. That's their show and everything. They didn't even ask me, and for my opinion, and I would have told them that it was great. So my guys are branching off on their own and doing a wonderful job. Now I sound like Travis Moody talking about people that were on his show. Anyway, and then Todd C jumping in really quick. Okay, so I got to ask you. I know that it's not anything crazy and unique, but where does your name come from?
So it's exactly that. It's not anything crazy. It's not anything unique. It's like, like when you're at like a house party or something and like you hear somebody coming up to the door. You're like, who the fuck is that? Oh, it's just Jeff. That's it. So it just kind of stuck with me because I don't think I'm a big deal. I'm not trying to be a big deal. And it's, who is it? Oh, it's just Jeff.
But you know what? It's straight to the point. People know who you are. Everyone knows just Jeff. The strange thing is you won't find his name if you type in just Jeff. You won't even find his name if you type in Ju5t Jeff. You have to have the underscore in it because there's another just Jeff out there that populates.
And he's very, very, very successful, the motherfucker.
That's why he populates before you.
I know.
I had been on Shark Eyes for quite some time because I'm like, you know how hard it is to find you? because type in shark eyes and you know what comes up? Shark fucking eyes. Lots of shark eyes. I don't need to see shark eyes on the interwebs. Nope, I don't. Sharks are already creepy enough to begin with. I don't need to see close-ups of their eyes.
That's fair.
So you need to. It's shark eyes toy review, if I'm correct. Now he populates, and this guy here, Krusty Old Crow, same thing. Hey, punk. Hey, not just Jeff. Hey, chat.
Hey, bro.
And then we have Allison Troy jumping in here. So, let me ask you a question. How old are you?
I'm 42.
42. So you are a youngin.
I am a youngin.
Within our community. I know we get some younger ones, but there's a lot of people that are.
Yeah.
I get like, it drives me nuts when people are like, well, I'm like 26. Like, okay, I understand, but for the most part, we're all in our late 40s, early 50s, or even older.
Yeah.
And then there's this weird 26-year-old that jumps in that likes classified, or a weird, don't get mad at me, I think 32-year-old that jumps in, or Battleground, who's 34 with the voice of a 65-year-old who smokes 4 packs a day. That is into G.I. Joe and stuff like that. That you're like, I didn't see that coming. It's awesome. It gives me hope for the future, but you don't always see it. So anyway, and we'll say hi to hi, it's me. That was weird to say. Like cold dead eyes. Yes, that's what sharks are. It's kind of like that Super 7 cover girl, just dead eyes.
Yeah.
So what was your family life like? Were your parents together? Where did you grow up at? Did you have any siblings?
So I grew up in I was born in Meridian, Mississippi. My father was stationed there. About 2 months later, we moved to San Diego, and then from San Diego we moved to Chula Vista. And my dad was working at Miramar for 6 months, and then he was off on a boat protecting America for 6 months. So I grew up not knowing him. And not for like a horrible reason, just because he was fucking working. And so it was just me and my mom for a long time. And then my folks got pregnant.
Both of them?
My brother, right? Yeah, both of them. Damnedest thing. Weirdest science achievement ever.
Finally, the man can say, we were pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said this. A woman could be popping out a baby. If she does not tell me she's pregnant, I'm not going to say a damn word. I could see that head coming out. I could see the angle on that baby's head. I'm not saying a damn word till they say I am pregnant. And I almost made the mistake the other day. I was at a client's, and you could tell she's about to burst. And I made a comment. I was like, hey, you already look like you're kind of mad. And she's like, yeah, it was a bad day. But that's not why I was saying it, because but then I thought, nope, I'm not saying anything. Even though you could fully tell, wasn't going to go there.
That 1% chance,
yes.
Not worth it.
Yeah,
not worth it.
Because I'm not coming down. I'm not about to bring down that fire. All right. So if anyone's ever pregnant, any of the females in here, I will never congratulate you. I would definitely never rub the belly. Creepy thing. I can't believe people do that anyway. I know we're way off topic as always, but yeah, any females in here, if you're ever pregnant and you meet me and then you walk away going, what a dick, he didn't even say congratulations. If you don't tell me, I'm not saying a goddamn word.
That's on you at that point. You need to know that. That's all on you, not Lawrence.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
And all the males in here, this is great advice. I'm giving you great advice. I know you're not supposed to tell people you're giving great advice, but it is great advice. The reason why I say this is because I was at a family function and one of my cousins looked like I thought she was pregnant, and my ex thought she was pregnant. And we were talking to one of my other cousins and we asked, and she goes, no. And someone just came up to her at school, like she was picking up one of their kids, and asked when she was due. And I went, nope, never going to do that. I will. I'm glad I didn't make that mistake.
Ever.
Quickly, we'll say hi to Rolando, Utah Toy Hunter. We have Tony Legend series here, and then we
Brother
have
from another
Fumbling.
mother right there.
Is it?
That Tony is brother from another mother.
Oh, okay. You said
Man.
I thought I
And Snake.
highlighted someone else. And
Oh
then
no,
Fumbling through the
and
galaxy.
Fumbling, dude. I've hung out with him in Texas. He came down for business or whatever, and me and Top Goon fucking hung out with him at Dallas Vintage Choice. It's a good time.
Rowdy says Rare Ripley can get men and women pregnant just by looking at them. You know what? Okay, I know people all in this Rare Ripley, dude. I grew up with fucking China. All right, Rare Ripley wouldn't have stood a chance against China. She's the 9th wonder of the world. It's actually stuck. I mean, she's dead now, so now she's the dead wonder of the world.
Not making it better.
Was I trying to?
I don't really know. Maybe.
Okay, so anyway, back to you. I know I can't believe my guys haven't started going, oh, look, there he is. Always making about himself.
So mom and dad have another son in 87. And in 88, we didn't have that son anymore.
Okay.
Marky was born with a lot of problems. And at the time in the 80s, they couldn't solve those problems. And so he was on life support, and then he went brain dead, and then he was no longer on life support.
Now, how old were you? Do you mind me asking?
I was like 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of where you have those memories.
There's other reasons for those memories being blocked too, but yeah. That was a very confusing time for me because, you know, you get prepped to be the older brother, and then your younger brother can't walk. You know, even if it was time for him to start, and your younger brother can't breathe on his own, even if he's supposed to. Your younger brother is hooked up to a bed in the living room all the time, and there's an alarm that goes off. Don't worry about it, though. The worst part for me, I think, I realized this when I was in my 20s, was the nurses taught me how to turn the alarm off. And so when I didn't turn the alarm off, I thought, for the longest time, it was my fault. Right? Because you're 6, you've got responsibility, and you're like, I got this. You know, and it took a long time to move past that. And it's still a struggle. But I moved past it, and I remember the good things with my brother, which are few and far between, and I try not to focus on the negative stuff, you know. So.
It's really what you have to do. I know. Yeah. I mean, I've talked about it. I was 13 when my mom passed away, and I was the one that found her. But as I've gotten older, my sister was 6. She was at home. And it was in February. She was outside walking around in the court because we live in condos. I truly do believe that she was the one that found her, didn't know what was going on, and she was just outside wandering. But she's never said anything. But I think that like she actually found her because I don't know how long. So I can only imagine that type of thing because that's an age where you shouldn't be thinking about stuff like that. But You're going to have those memories, and I'm sure things kind of pop up that you totally forgot about at times.
Mostly good stuff lately. Mostly good stuff.
And that's good.
A lot of counseling, a lot of medication, and yeah, mostly good stuff.
No, and again, as you get older, hopefully with everything in life, you learn to look back at the good things that have happened rather than focusing on all the bad stuff because there's too many people that focus on what they don't have rather than what they do have.
Right. So like I learned in counseling and stuff that like there's a lot of speed bumps on this road that we're all on, right? And like sometimes you will pop that tire in that speed bump and you don't know what to do, but eventually you find out how to fix that tire and keep going forward. And either you replace the tire, do whatever. Fucking doesn't matter. It's a goddamn metaphor. But you learn to just go forward again.
What kind of tires are we looking at? Michelin, Goodyear,
Sure. Yep.
Toyo.
But like, I learned that, and like, a bunch of other horrible things happened to me when I was a kid. And we always, it's something to talk about. I'm going to talk about it. And if you're sensitive to any of this, guys, you might want to fucking bail out now. I was molested when I was 7.
So quick, I just want to say, like, that's what the show is about. Like, if you want to talk about something, I've gone down, just so people that are listening, I've gone down with people that have attempted to commit suicide. I know we're not supposed to say that, so we say suicide. We've talked about, people have talked about losing children. This is, again, this is your platform to discuss, you. And hopefully we get a lot of happy stuff, but
this is a win, believe it or not. That's not a good way to lead, but this kid named Michael Bailey, who is still in fucking jail. I keep tabs on that. He was molesting a couple of kids in my neighborhood in Chula Vista. One night I'm taking a bath, and I mentioned something to my mom about the secret club. And that's where I tell her what's going on. From there on out, it is a fucking blank space for me of what happened. My mom told me 2 years ago that when they went to court, other parents were there of all these kids that he's, done horrible things to. And my mom told me if I hadn't have spoke up, he would have kept doing it. And like at that point 2 years ago, I was like, so I helped other kids, and she was like, yeah. I went, oh. So this horrible, shitty fucking thing that happened to me shouldn't happen to anybody, ever.
No. It
got turned into a win because this motherfucker went down, and he's still down. And that's a win for me. I'm chalk it up to a win. So,
now, do you mind me asking how old he was at the time? He was 12. And from that, he's still in prison, or were there other things? The only reason
there's other things that has happened to him.
Okay. And the only reason
he's fucked around and found out way too much over the last 30, 40 years, whatever.
Okay. And the only reason I'm asking is clearly because they look at that as a minor, and we all know that they get out. Yeah. And again, we all know how that type of stuff goes, unfortunately. It's something you're right. No one should ever have to go through that. Yeah. No one, not male, no female, doesn't matter. And a lot of times at 12 years old, you don't even know that you're doing it wrong because it was done to you. Yep. But we also see that people that continue to do it, it's in them. And it's something that's very unfortunate because there's too many people in this world that have it happen to. Nobody wants to speak up on it.
Nobody.
Because it's embarrassing. I would assume. I've never had it happen. So I would assume it's very embarrassing.
I don't know how to say this without saying it's embarrassing. It makes me feel less sometimes. We're going to get into some more deeper shit. So when I was with my girlfriend, right, and you're with your girlfriend, and it's that time, and you're like, let's play some baseball. And you're rounding second, and you're getting the third. I'm with her, and I start crying. Just crying horribly, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. And, like, I felt guilty for what we were doing. Because shit like that happened to me, right? But I'm 17, 16 years old. And, that pang of this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong is ringing in your head. You can only sit there and fucking hold your head in your hands, and like the girl gets confused, and she asked me what was going on, and I was like, just a headache, something, anything to get out of that situation. And it follows you. It follows you for a long time, and it's about how you deal with it. For me, when I got old enough, it was football, because slamming a motherfucker into the ground when you're the size of me or a little bit smaller, but, more athletic and good, better looking, feels really fucking good. And you find outlets. That's all I can. That you find outlets that help you heal, and whatever it may be, family, friends, wiener dogs,
Well,
basset hounds.
I mean, even people like myself that haven't gone through stuff like that, we find other outlets for stuff that we're going through. And I've talked to people that have gone through much worse than me, and I've talked to people that have gone through less than me, and I try and make it known, like, just because you've had more or you've had less, it doesn't mean that what's happened in your life isn't important. And I know a lot of people think that, especially when I say my mom passed away, they instantly go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Or I've also had people that have like apologized because they were talking about Mother's Day, or I'm like, dude, don't don't apologize because your mom is still with us.
Yeah.
I hate you for it, but that's a whole other.
That's
no,
look, you're a sack of shit, but that
it must be nice to be pissed off at your mom. All right, I haven't been be mad at my mom since I was 13 years old. No, but again, that's something that a lot of people they don't want to talk about stuff, and the fact that and right here. Rowdy says, I told you, Jeff, you've helped a lot of people, even if you don't know it. And I think after a while, you do get to know the people. You do get to understand that you've helped people, especially in the communities that you end up in. And I'm not talking about this community. I'm just talking about in general, like whether it be comic books, skateboarding, wherever you're at, the bodybuilding, whatever, like there are people that have gone through what you've gone through.
There are things that people have gone through and they don't want to talk about. And like my big thing, like lately, not even lately, it's like horrible shit happens to people. And if we don't talk about it, there's no light thrown on it. So we can't stop it in the future. That's why I went down the career path I did. Before I was doing, let's rewind, go to teenager stuff, and then we'll get to it.
Well, okay, so we're gonna jump back. I was letting you talk because it's something you clearly wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
and I have no issues with it. So going back to, I mean, you said your brother passed away, but before that, can you remember like the first toys like that you?
Ghostbusters.
That's the first. Well, again, you are younger than me, so that makes sense.
Ghostbusters.
People my age, I always say like Army Men, adventure people, but you would have been at an age where were they all new, or did you have hand-me-downs?
They were new. They were brand new.
They were brand new?
Yeah, so it was Ghostbusters and Lego. My dad came back from Japan in 1980 something and tossed me a small little Lego box of a classic space thing. Basically a lawn chair with rocket boosters on it. Yeah, in today's like Lego world. And we'll get to that later. But Ghostbusters. The first 10 times that I broke a proton pack and my dad tried to super glue it together when he was home was the first 10 times I've ever heard the F word. So, yeah, no shit, man.
Tony's probably yelling right now. He's probably yelling at me right now. You don't do super glue, but it does work for a lot of things.
So you know how it is with those proton packs and the neutron wands. You put it around their arm, and those fucking things just clip, like if you look at them wrong.
Yeah.
So my mom wrote a letter to Hasbro. No, Kenner. I'm sorry. Kenner. And she explained the situation, and then we got a box of proton packs, all in plastic baggies.
So you
no charge, just here.
So you were able just to break them whenever you wanted now.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Then your dad didn't have to swear when he was doing it because he knew that he had time before he had to have one working.
Right.
I've told the story before. My son Andrew, I've never seen a kid love one toy more than him, and that was the first Iron Man 6-inch figure.
Oh,
okay. To the point where I'll still catch him in there. He's 18, almost 19. And every now and then it'll pop up in my memory. like not my memory, but in my memory on Facebook, and I'll repost it, right? I had to continue to buy these. Then they started getting harder. So I had pieces because he would just play with it so much that the peg would actually just fall off. It would wear through it. So I started just buying them. And then I would always have an extra one. And then his mom and I split up. So he had to have one over there and one over here. So I didn't want him forgetting it. But I also had to have a backup here and also had to have a backup there. So I have one. I have it sitting back up there. I said I will always have one. And we got him Iron Man 2. It was a little bit different. He barely played with it. A matter of fact, the Iron Man 2 that is back there is his because he didn't play with it. This thing can't stand. Sometimes it'd be on one, like on one leg. So I understand your dad's frustration.
And Mask. It was Ghostbusters, Lego, and Mask. And
no, the Mask had to be
85, 86, somewhere around there. Because I remember watching Mask. I remember watching Mask on TV.
What year were you born?
82.
So if you were getting them new, you would have been really young.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But toys also stayed on the shelves a lot longer.
Yeah, that too. Like we went to the Navy Exchange for most of my stuff in a place called Fedco down on H Street. And the Navy Exchange always had
That's
Mask
one of my
toys.
favorite skateboard brands, H Street.
Yeah. That's yeah, Fedco and the Navy Exchange is where most of my toys came from. So, they're always a little bit, I don't know. I mean, as far as I knew at that time, it was Santa Claus. So,
Didn't matter, but it didn't matter back in the day.
Yeah.
I know for me, my ex and I would start buying for Christmas in June, July, and I would have so much stuff because when the kids were young and little, they weren't like, oh, this thing is old, Dad. Like, it's in the package. It's Iron Man. He loves Iron Man, right? It didn't matter. It was already packaged. They didn't realize, like, Dad, this thing came off on pre-order like 2 months ago. Like, it didn't matter. Then video games came along, and well, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
And then Four Feathers is saying, Jeff, I'm glad the bastard's still where he belongs. Lauren, sorry for the loss of your mother at such a young age, man, especially for your sister. Well, thank you very much. Again, it's been a long time, and well, if you saw in our mods chat, you'd know that I make jokes about shit. You do.
Dark humor is the best humor.
It is. It is. There's a lot of reasons why I don't. You don't hear my dark humor here, right? Because we live in a culture where you cannot say certain things that is a joke. That's why I love some of these comedians that don't give a shit.
Same.
And it's like, I'm sorry if you guys get mad. Sometimes a racist joke does not make you racist. It's just a joke.
I think it was Chappelle that said it. Like, if an audience starts out hating you, and then you can turn it so that they're laughing with you and alongside you, you've done your job.
Yeah,
and that resonates very true.
Yeah, and again, most people can tell in someone's heart who they are, like the type of person that they are. And this I can say I know for a fact. Yes, Sarge gets mad at everything. Just not when people are in the store, but you're in the store. We got Viper Scout jumping in here. Sarge says Larry is the most anger-induced human I've met
so far.
Yeah, you believe me, you haven't seen when I'm angry. You guys only catch a bit of it.
Fair enough.
So those are like the first toys you remember. Do you remember like the first toys you fell in love with? Was it Ghostbusters?
Superpowers? It was Superpowers Batman with action.
Okay.
No, that'll be clipped for something great.
No, was it all the Superpowers or was it just Batman?
It was all of them. So in Indiana, my great-grandparents lived, right? And this is all I remember about Indiana My mom and I walked to the corner store, and she bought me Wonder Woman and the Joker. That's it.
Okay.
And I remember I had like the Justice like League headquarters and everything else. And I
What?
had the Batcopter and the Batmobile, and like I had all of it. It was just so cool. My grandparents gave me the original blue Superpowers Batmobile that's sitting at my parents' house in Arizona right now.
Okay.
Like they, I was a hoarder. I kept everything. Well, my mom kept everything, so.
It's not really a hoarder. There are kids that kept things. I was one of those.
Mhm.
I never thought of that as a hoarder. I just thought of that as like, you know, I had someone make a comment like about my classic review saying that's in really good, that's in really good condition. Did you even play with your toys? And I was like, have you watched the channel? Because you kind of, if you do, then you would know that, yeah, not all of these are my original, but I still took care of my stuff.
Right?
And the ones
Weird,
that,
right?
most of the ones that aren't my original, there's a reason. They're a little beat up.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I look back to like I still have my original Ghostbusters, right? And like, it is not a good thing that I still have my original Ghostbusters. The no ghost emblem scratched off, the paint from all the jumpsuits are just gone. And when they re-released them and they came out with those retro ones, I scooped them up. So I was like, these are fine. They don't look like hot garbage. So.
But there's something special about having your original toy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still have my firehouse, like the firehouse that people have seen before and whatever. That was the firehouse that I woke up to one Christmas morning, set up on the kitchen table. My
Okay.
dad had gone into my bedroom the night before, very, very quietly, and for a large man that fucking hated everything, he I didn't move around in the military though.
I'm sorry. I'm totally picturing the dad from the Wonder Years.
Dude, you're not far off. And I didn't. I stayed in San Diego up until I was 13, up until 93. So
So
11, 12, somewhere around there.
and you kind of your dad moved around, but
No,
he didn't take the whole family, right?
no. Dad was on boat. Dad was on ship, and
Yeah.
then he'd work at Miramar. That
Okay.
was it.
And why do we all know Miramar?
Because that's Top Gun.
That's why we
That's
all
why I
know
know
it.
him. My dad was a technical advisor for Tom Cruise and the other guy. I can't remember his name. He helped them get into their F-14s.
Yeah.
On the set of the movie. So that was pretty
Greatest,
fucking cool.
the greatest looking fighter plane of all time, bar
Goddamn
none.
right.
And I've fallen in love with the F-22. I've fallen in love with the F-22, but
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. The F-14 is the best looking on-screen plane, and again, I think a lot has to do with the sweep wings.
Yeah, I think it does too. Right before my dad got out, we were all allowed to go on a day cruise on the. It was either the Kitty Hawk or the Ranger, the Shitty Kitty or the Ranger. I can't remember which one it was, but we got to see an F-14 be about 100 feet up above the deck and go supersonic. When you're like 10 or like 9 or fucking whatever, however old I was, that's a memory that sticks. I remember my dad took his earmuffs off and put them on me, and he gave me like a pat on the shoulder and a smile and pointed. And like to see that F-14 go like a bat out of hell, it's like, holy shit,
So I live by an air base. It's about like 5 miles from my house.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were when we were moving into this place, this is the lowest, and I didn't see it. The whole house shook.
Yeah.
And it was gone. I ran outside. There was like the neighbor. She came outside and was like, "Well, what was that?" I'm like, "It was a fighter jet." Now I hear them come by. I've never had one that low, but like you hear them, and sometimes you just don't see them because they're going so fast.
And you can feel them.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and again, even now, like I can feel it, and I have all the A-10s. The A-10s are housed here, so I see
the
A-10s
A-10.
all the time. Which is the second greatest looking fighter plane, which isn't really a fighter plane. It's
A badass jet.
yes. It's basically a tank with wings.
It's fantastic. Let's put this 30-foot gun, into this, and then we'll just make it fly. Perfect.
No, that's just it, and I see them all the time. Again, I love it, and I'm not sure what fighter planes they house. If it's the F-18 or the I think the F-16, but they do house another one too. But the A-10 is like, you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's
death in the air to the ground.
It is, and I've often joked. I'm like, it's funny because you had this imagination as a kid when you see because we always played, the Rattler versus Sky Striker. The fact of the matter is, that Rattler would have lasted roughly 20 seconds against the F-14.
Best guess, 20 seconds. Yes.
But as a kid, we didn't know that.
So my friends Brian and Kevin, they were the son of another sailor, Dave Hill, and Vivi Hill. Vivi was a wonderful human being while she was with us, and Dave was a wonderful dad and a wonderful sailor. He's still around. He's in New Mexico. And Brian and Kevin were huge into Joe. This is my first experience with G.I. Joe. When Brian and Kevin played with it, they played G.I. Joe. I got suckered in and played G.I. Joe with them, and all that fun stuff. And I remember wanting G.I. Joe, and I remember my dad saying no. And my dad, also did 3.5 fucking tours of Vietnam. He was done with war, And yeah. I was like, okay. And he got me Shipwreck. It sits in his office now.
My dad got me Shipwreck too.
Yeah, you got to do a couple from what I hear.
And then again. I had 9 Shipwreck, 8 for Christmas one year.
And later on, I got into Joe. This is a thing that I found out. My mom sent me a picture, blah, blah, blah. Lots of Star Brigade. Lots of Star Brigade.
I've never had a Star Brigade. Or I'm not a Star Brigade. I'm sorry, a Steel Brigade is what I meant.
I didn't even know what Steel Brigade was up until, not because of Valaverse, but because of Ed from Ed's Retro Geek Out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We were in a cafe in Texas, the whole crew, and he had this bag full of G.I. Joes, right? And I'm like, fucking whatever. And Boston Mike is our G.I. Joe guy in the group, Boston Mike. And Mike's going through them, and he's explaining to me what all of these Joes are, right? And I'm like, how the fuck do you know all this? He's like, I just know. I'm like, okay. And good night, Rowdy.
People love my Shipwreck story. I'm just gonna say it. I can, every time I go, they're like, you need to tell the aircraft carrier story again. I'm like, all right. And then they're like, and I need to hear the WrestleMania 3. I'm like, all right, guys, if you need to hear it, I will.
Where the fuck was I? Oh, so Boston Mike's getting these Joes from Ed, and he pulls out 3 Steel Brigades. They all have gold helmets, blue shirts. That's what I remember. This was years ago. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is up with these? And I picked them up, and I'm just wobbling with them. And everybody in the group just slowly looked over at me and was like, put it down. I was like, why? Because it's $80. Oh, put it down. And from Boston Mike, Kevin from Peg Warmers, to Chad, that's where my G.I. Joe education began. JLS Comics, Bardo, Jay Bartlett helped out as well. HGC, when he would do info videos about Joes and stuff, that's where I would learn from there too. And I loved learning about it. And I, at one point I bought a ramp. I bought an original Flint. I bought an original Roadblock, and I was like, this journey starts now. And then Mike was like, well, what vamp did you get? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I got the green vamp. Well, which one? The fuck do you mean? He's like, does it have a shovel? Yeah, it's fucking right. Yeah, I pulled it out. It was right. He's like, no, does it have a shovel on the hood? What the fuck? No. And then I found out the magical world of variants. I returned to the toy store and was like, I would like my money back, sir. You can keep these. Analog Toys happens, and Tony's got that 00 Snake Eyes, right?
Yep.
And fucking ooh and ah, that figure's fucking dope. It's fire. I see them at Walmart and I grab the first 4. I get them home. I'm not really sure what to do because it's been a while since I've had like legit action figures, right? Like it was mostly Lego for me, this big and I'm looking at it and I'm going through it. I'm getting everything done that I can get done with the fucking thing. And I didn't care about the backstories of any of this shit. I just thought they looked cool. And that's how that happened. Because I went, these look dope.
Well, you jumped ahead.
We jumped quite ahead.
Yeah, but that's okay because
we can go back and forth.
Watch my show knows I can't stay on track. So yeah. We'll get into your classified and your love for classified and how you think it is the greatest toy line going right now. I don't know if you said that, but I just put those words.
That's not what I said, but yeah, okay, yeah.
That's what I heard. I'm just saying.
Sure, yeah.
That's what I heard. I actually heard that you said all those people that you just mentioned, they said the same thing. Really strange. Mm-hmm. So you heard it first here, all right? Analog Toys loves classified. It's Chad loves classified. All out of this guy's mouth right here.
That's right. All out of me.
All right. So as a kid, you said you lost your brother. Now, did you have any more siblings?
No. Mom and dad stopped trying after that.
Okay. So no more siblings. So you have no built-in play friends. But if you're living on a base, like, are there...
I was not living on the base. I was living in civilian housing for Chula Vista on Sonora Drive, off of Orange Street.
Now, did you have a lot of friends around there, or was it?
Yeah, so I went to a school called Valley Lindo, and y'all can look it up as much as you want. There's a big fucking hill that led down to Valley Lindo, so I lived close to my elementary school, so like a lot of kids were in my neighborhood. And we, palled around until it was no longer time to pal around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... you said what your favorite toy was, but did you fall in love with Ghostbusters? Because I know sometimes I may say that Ghostbuster fans are not toy collectors.
They're not.
I love this argument. I love when we get into it.
I'm just gonna agree with you
because I'm right.
I'm a guest here.
So as you're going into middle school, are you still playing with toys? Or are you starting to find other things? Because you said at this point, certain things that happened to you that may have changed how you felt about everything.
If anything, so my mom was more on the emotional spectrum. It's like as to what was going on with me. And my dad needed to have it hit him in the face to realize what was wrong with his son, because my dad was not like that, right?
Okay.
And so my mom knew that I was kind of suffering, so she started buying me. Well, first grade, I'm having problems reading. I can't fucking read. I'm fucked, right? Like they're getting ready to put me in special ed classes, all that shit. I can't fucking read. My dad comes home one day and he's like, "Come here." So I'm like, okay, I go sit in his lap, and he has The Adventures of Tintin. I don't remember which one. I don't care. I think it's just the space one, maybe. It's just fucking 30 plus years ago. And he made me read that. There was no coddling. There was no hand holding. He's like, you know what those letters sound? I was like, yeah, I can make the sounds of all the letters. It just wasn't meshing. And that's how I learned to read. Because my dad made me read The Adventures of Tintin and later The Fantastic Four.
I've heard a lot of people say that comics are how they learned how to read.
Yeah, it helps with comprehension and everything else.
Because you're reading something, and again, there's pictures there that help you understand what's going on, but there's a hell of a story that's being told there.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting rather than a book.
Can you highlight Allison's comment about Chula Vista real quick?
Allison, don't take anything Allison says is legit.
No, she's right though. I lived there from 82 to 93, right? And it was kind of a different vibe then. And it was like California's secret. It was a small town feel to San Diego or to Chula Vista. And then when I went back, like later in life, when I was an adult with my first wife, I wanted to fucking leave immediately. It was bad. It was not good. So that's where we're at. So yeah.
They said just take things Allison says with a grain of salt.
All right, that's fair.
All right, so but going into middle school, what are you doing? Like, are you still playing with toys? Are you starting to?
In middle school, I'm trying to find friends because we'd moved to Arizona at that point.
Okay.
Like, hey, all of your best friends that you ever made. Nah.
So, is it safe to say your dad's no longer in the Navy if you move to Arizona?
At this point, he had retired.
Okay, because there's no boats in Arizona.
There's no boats. Well, there's little ones.
There's little boats,
on
but there's
rivers
no.
and things,
Yeah, there's no military boats.
So my dad retires. He made like the first rank of chief, and then he was out, right?
Okay.
And so for 9 months, he works for Hertz. He redesigns their car return and everything else. They apparently still use that system. And then he went to work for North Island at the rework facility there. And it was basically what he did in the Navy. No directing of jets, but the ejection seat system and life support systems. You would strip those from a plane and blah, blah, blah. And so he did that up until 1995. So he stayed in California. He lived with his friend Ken, and my mom and I were in Arizona by ourselves.
Now, why is that?
Mom won't talk about it, but Dad has stated that they were having problems too at the same time.
Okay.
And like when Dad would come and visit, it was the best time ever. You know, they didn't fight. There's none of that shit, right? And so I was like, okay, you know, me being as young as I was, and I wasn't really making any friends because I was a, you know, chubby kid that was a nerd. And so I retreated inside of books, like Star Wars novels, Star Trek novels. I started playing solitaire like every day. I learned how to do that. When I was at home, I would just build with Lego. You know,
that's what I do when I'm on Thursday with a friend. I'm just playing solitaire.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say?
Oh no, don't worry about it. Goddamn fucking sevens. But yeah, so Lego was my outlet, and you know, watching movies and learning stuff about that. Like, so go back just a little bit. When my dad would come home, there was 3 things that he would do in this order. My mom, watch Dune, and then play Atari. 2 of those 3 activities I was participating in with him, the Dune and Atari. And so
one of those activities is what made you.
That's right. And when he came to Arizona, we would all go to Laughlin, Nevada, where there was casinos and shit like that, right? I think The Simpsons have made fun of Laughlin, Nevada a couple times. My dad.
I want you to continue to talk. That sneeze, I have to blow my nose, and no one needs to see that. So continue to talk.
So my dad, whenever we would go to the arcade, he would just come with me for like the first hour, and we would play games, and that was comforting. And then as I went through middle school, I made friends eventually. Whatever. That's about it, really. It was kind of a lonely time in my life. I didn't really want to step out of my shell, and I didn't really want to do anything else. You know, I wasn't into football or baseball then, so you know, I was just kind of the weird kid. I was okay with that.
So you were pretty much a loner all through middle school, you would say?
I was such a loner. It was. Now, you know, I had people I talked to and stuff, but like I didn't. You know, there was any.
So were you playing with toys since you were by yourself? Okay.
Yeah, I was still playing with Kinder Batman figures and everything else, and like. My mom was still buying me toys. I was still buying toys from like allowances and like chores and shit. So yeah.
And then when you go into high school, does anything change?
Yes. We finally move into our house because we moved to Arizona, lived with my grandmother. We were building a house, so we move into the house finally.
Okay.
All the shit from storage comes out, which is great. And in high school, I discovered that there's 2 things about me that I knew that I could do well back then, which is stop people from hitting somebody else that was behind me and smaller, and I could kind of act. So I joined the football team made JV my freshman year, and then I also did plays, and like I kind of grew out from there, and people got to know me then, and like I didn't hang out with the jocks, I didn't hang out with anybody. I just kind of sat like that weird kid that's sitting up against the wall and like the shade, and he's got like headphones on. But when people would walk by, they'd be like, "Oh, hey, Jeff," and it wasn't like one group of people; it was like everybody because I just kind of floated between like
And
friendship
then
groups.
when someone new would be at school, they'd say, "Who is that?" And they'd say, "Oh, that's just Jeff."
Basically. So it was ninth grade. I met Roland Hulse, and then I met his brother Ron. Roland's a great guy and everything, but we're not going to talk about Roland. We're going to talk about his brother Ron. And Ron is a senior in high school, and I'm a freshman. No, I'm a sophomore. And Ron introduces me to Robert. And Robert is a fucking burnout skater kid, and he loves independent film. I'm like, okay. And I start to love.
Yeah, right? I thought you were going to say independent trucks. I'm like, this is a really weird story. Like,
but Robert was the skater and like all that shit and like everything else. And like, since Robert hung out with the skaters and I started to hang out with Robert, I was hanging out with them. And then they were like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this band called NoFX?" No. Do you like rock and roll? Yeah. And then from there on out, it was Rancid and Bouncing Souls and Pennywise and Goldfinger.
How did rock and roll come from NoFX?
I have no fucking idea, man.
Because I thought if they were going to say like, "Do you like rock and roll?" and you said yes, they would be like, "Well, it's nothing like that."
No, I know, right? Well, Bobby Robert was trying to make it easier for me to understand because, of course, we left the group and like, I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" He's like, "Nirvana." Okay. He's like, "Green Day." He's like, "Really?" He went, "Yeah," because Dookie had come out in '93, right? And so,
I remember.
Hey, highest independent record ever selling thanks to Reprise. Anyway, let's just not.
Was it?
Yeah, it was I think it was the highest record selling because
it was the Offspring.
It might have been.
I could be wrong because they both went nuts because the Offspring stayed on Epitaph.
They did.
I think the whole time.
I'm looking.
Green Day did. It's
Offspring.
Really,
so it was smashed by Offspring in '94. So that's awesome. Good.
It was a smash.
It was. I remember that shit. It was good.
So I'm not a big Offspring fan.
You
like it, you like it.
I mean, I'm not a big War fan, but here we go.
Hey,
not in this house, sir.
You don't have to be a Guar fan to know that it was the greatest show ever put on.
And so I'm listening to punk and everything else, and what's going on, Doom? And I'm listening to punk, and I'm really digging it. And I'm in my room, and I've got the stereo up. Mom's somewhere, and Dad comes in and is like, "What are you listening to?" And I was like, "I'm listening to this band called Rancid." And he nods, leaves, and comes back with the entire vinyl collection of The Who. And I go, "What?" And he puts on The Who, and he looks at me, looks at my albums, looks at me, looks at my albums, and I'm like, "These guys are really good." He threw his hands up in the air and walked out of my room. And then I became in love with the fucking Who. And later that year, we returned to San Diego, and I got to see Tommy at Carnegie Hall, not Carnegie Hall, some fucking hall.
Okay.
It was the stage production of Tommy. And yeah, really weird music, but I loved it.
And you know what? So many of us get into music. And what's funny is that I just recorded a Thursday with a friend yesterday for the one when I'm at Joe-Fest. And it's a guy that had me on a show. He's a hardcore guy. And we talk about how we literally found like hardcore and punk. And again, it's interesting. Like when you hear stuff like this, like you have this memory, your buddy says, "Hey, check this out." And you're like, "What the hell is NoFX?" Again, it's not a word. All right. It actually comes from the band Negative FX.
Yeah.
Which is a straight edge band Choke from Slapshot, which, if you know anything about NoFX, they're anything but straight edge.
No, they are not. But
Which-
Bob was the first NoFX song I ever heard.
Bob is awesome.
Bob is awesome. And
Yes.
then We're the Brews.
And we're the
Ron,
Brews.
yeah. Ron bought me I Heard They Suck Live. I went, okay. And I, and from there it was hooked. And then my friend Fat Joe was like, hey, you like punk, right? I was like, sure. And then he gave me a Real Big Fish tape. And I can't remember what record it was. It wasn't the one with Sellout on it. And I remember falling in love with that music. Punk rock with horns all day. Let's do it. And that led me to Less Than Jake. And that led me to Goldfinger, again, because of their sounds. And just the Swingin' Utters, fucking H2O. All of that shit started lining up for me. And, like, it was probably one of my favorite times in history of, like, being me. Because there wasn't any tragedy around it. It was just like, this is mine, And toys started to go to the wayside, but comics were coming on strong.
Which is really weird that you say that, because like this is so fresh, because the guy I talked to yesterday, we talked about this punk, and he said he talked to a guy, or he was listening to an interview, and a guy of a punk band, and they asked, are your kids into it? And he said, no. And I'm glad they're not. And the guy said, why? And he goes, because so many of us come from broken homes, and that's the reason why we got into this. Yeah. And I'm glad that my kids don't feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm not from a broken home. Like, I'm
neither am I. Right. So, yeah.
I can see it in the music. And the thing about NoFX, you can listen to most of their songs, and most of them have absolutely they have no real meaning to it, right?
Right, exactly.
Some of them have amazing meaning.
Yes.
And there's one song, I cannot think of the name of it. I believe it's on White Trash, Two Heebs and a Bean. An awesome name. White Trash, Two Heebs and a Bean, right?
Yeah.
It's not racist, people.
It's not.
It's anything but racist. And it's the one about the kid that's left at the she's left at the playground because her mom dies.
Yeah.
She's waiting. And you want to talk about something that just resonates with me, right? Where it's like, that's how you feel, like you feel left,
right?
And even though it wasn't anything that my mom did, like you feel like she left you, at least for a while. I mean, you start to feel different as you move on and realize it wasn't anything that they did. But they have some really good. Oh, hey, Dobby.
Hey, Dobby.
But they have some really good, powerful songs. I'm not talking about We're the Brews, because that has its own meaning to it. But like the song Bob, like,
yeah. Now what's Bob gonna do now that he can't drink?
And we all know someone
said.
Yeah,
what you been thinking about?
Yeah. But it's not one of those where you're like, that's a great, powerful song. But you're like, yeah, I know that guy.
It's a fucking warning.
Yeah. It's like watching The Office. And if you've ever worked in an office and you've watched The Office, you're like, hey, I know who that is. I know who that is. And if you ever watch The Office and you're like, I don't know who that guy is,
that's who you are. Yeah.
If you're like, I've never worked with a Dwight, that's because you're Dwight.
You're Dwight, brother. Sorry, man. But so punk rock is becoming a thing, and my friend Bob is trying to teach me how to fucking skateboard. It's not going well because I'm fucking 250 pounds and a football player, and like I'm fucking 6'0" in fucking 11th, 12th grade, right? So I'm like, fuck this. I'm not doing it. He bought me a longboard, and for the longest time, that's how I got around on my longboard. And then he introduced me to Buck 09. And then I wanted to learn how to skate so bad, I just couldn't. Buck 09 is one of those bands you don't hear about often. And like, when you do, you remember, and you're like, fuck yeah, that's just good music,
I've never listened to them, though.
Oh,
but I know who they are.
They take all the good things about punk rock and all the good things about ska, and they do this.
And see, that's just it. I used to hate ska.
That's okay.
And it was.
Oh, this is done.
What?
I said, well, we're done. No.
Well, as I got older,
Mhm.
I started to enjoy. I started to enjoy it more. I didn't like the Boss Tones, and I've really come to like the Boss Tones. And I know people are
So I
like,
remember
oh.
when Clueless, Boss Tones before Clueless or whatever, or like, I wasn't a big fan of the Boss Tones, but then I saw them live. I went, oh, well, fucking A. Okay, here we are. You know, like I'm down. Less Than Jake is still my favorite ska band of all time, though, so we'll just leave it there.
Yeah,
They got
I
weird.
saw like the Voodoo Glow Skulls when they came here.
Oh man, Charlie Brown by them is fucking great. I saw them close for the Dropkick Murphys at the Huntridge Theater in Las Vegas. Closed for them.
Well, what's funny is that it was in Ferndale, Michigan, and my buddy, who I saw, God, what's the Michigan ska band? Oh, shit, you probably know them too. I cannot think of their name. When I was in Arizona visiting my buddy, I was gonna go skate. He was going to this concert, but it was so hot and I couldn't find anyone to skate with on the ASU campus or whatever. So I just went back and I went to the show, and it just happened to be that the one ska band from Michigan just happened to be in town. And until I was in my 40s, I had never seen them again because I didn't ever want to see ska.
Right.
But they actually put on a hell of a show. They played till like 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And my buddy's band opened up for them. Then the Voodoo Glow Skulls actually opened up for them, even though it was supposed to be the other way around because it was their hometown, though. But yeah, I've learned to enjoy ska, but you know, you have
there's degrees of it. Like I like some of Voodoo Glow Skulls, but not all Voodoo Glow Skulls. Like I'm sorry, like there's some stuff I just can't.
Well, my buddy, when I hit him up, I was like, hey, Voodoo, my buddy's playing Voodoo Skull. He's like, I hate those fuckers. I was like, whoa. He's like, I almost beat the shit out of that lead singer.
Yeah,
and like Derek is not like he's not an angry person, but he was a big, just physically tough guy. And it was when he was younger, and I was like, ooh, and he kind of went and like he just like, I'm not going to see him. All right, dude, that's cool. We'll go see another show.
So I lived in Kingman, Arizona, and like a punk scene started to happen. The Unoriginal Bastards were a hometown band. They were fucking great. Love the Aquabats. And you know, and so we got Guttermouth to come to our fucking little town and play.
The most politically incorrect band. The Vandals are right behind them.
I love the Vandals. Yeah,
I do too. And the guy's Christian. You know that? He's like a Christian pastor. Guttermouth is exactly what it says. Their songs have pretty much no meaning whatsoever, but they're hilarious. Mm-hmm. If you want to be offended, you can find every single song will offend you. Mm-hmm. Or if you want to be entertained, you can just be entertained. But he's a genius. The way he can contort his voice.
Yes.
The way he can sing differently. The song where they're talking about after Morris died for the Doors and they tried to continue on. And he is singing as the lead singer of Love Shack, who
the B-52s. Yeah.
B-52s. That guy tried to sing for them and they kept like working their stuff into it. It's hilarious. And I saw them and they were like, dude, I've seen them a couple times and every time. So I know we're way off track. Sorry, guys. I love when I can talk music. Have you ever seen Authority Zero?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Vegas, baby.
What?
Vegas, baby. It was 90 minutes away from Kingman. Me and some buddies would get in a car, have $10 to our name, and go see a punk show.
Well, they're from Arizona.
They are.
So I fell in love with Authority Zero later on in life when I wasn't going to shows. And then they were coming. And I was like, you know what? I'm going. None of my friends like it. I'm at the age that there's only a few people that will go to shows with me. And My ex had just had back surgery. I had tickets in my hand. I'd bought them months before, and she had just had back surgery like 2 weeks before that. Now she's at home, she's fine, but my stepdaughter and my son, who was little, could not get along. And I finally made the decision. I said, I am not going, because if I come home, and for once, Susan was just like, no, go. Like, you bought tickets. And I was like, I remember trying to talk to Emily. She was, I think, 12 or 13 at the time. And I'm like, there's no way. I am not coming home to this. So I missed them. Then I was in Chicago for training. And I was like, they're playing. The problem was they were playing on the other side of Chicago, which was the opposite side of Michigan. And I was leaving that day, and I had to work the next day. And I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to leave at like 2:00 in the morning.
There's no way.
And then there was another time they played here, and I couldn't go. And I'm like, I've just accepted I'm never going to see this band.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I absolutely fell in love with the band. I love all their stuff.
It's good.
And then I think the one of having the ticket and just being like so pissed off that a little 13 or 14-year-old just could not get along with her little brother, just for like 4 or
10
5
seconds, like an hour or
all
2.
I wanted. Mom, and again, it wasn't like Susan, she just had back surgery. I think this was her second back surgery. And I'm just like, I'm not going to go. And now we're split up, and I totally regret it.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So I just had to ask about that.
Yeah, no, I get that. But yeah, so like I said, high school plays, fucking football. When I turned like 17, I turned 15, and my parents were like, you need culture. We lived in Chula Vista, San Diego, the mecca of culture. Now we live in a town with 20,000 people in the fucking desert. Now you think I need culture? So they sent me to...
We're in Arizona.
Kingman, Arizona.
Okay, now how far is that from Mesa?
3 hours.
Okay,
Peoria is 2 hours, so probably about 3.
So you're not even... Okay.
Right, not even close. No. So I go, okay. And they send me to New York City and Brooklyn with my grandparents for that summer. My grandfather passed away about a month ago, so lucky he's not going to be able to hear or see this. Grandpa was a very complicated man. Everything I learned about violence, I learned from my grandfather. Not on, like, me, but, like... He went to a gentleman's club all the time. Not a strip club, but a club for gentlemen. And he was Irish. Leave it there. And so Grandpa did that, and then he made me learn how to drive in New York City in a Porsche. A 1969 Porsche. He's like, all right, you're driving. If I fucking wreck this thing, you're going to kill me. He's like, well, don't wreck it. Oh, okay. So I learned how to drive. Yeah, no problem, right?
It's like telling your friend, just don't break my vamp.
Right?
Okay. Same thing, right?
So summers I was in New York City. I'd come back to Arizona, and for like a month and a half, I would have a strong-ish accent. And then they would go away. People would make fun of me, and I'd just be like, yeah, okay, I'm just not going to ever talk to anyone again. And the only time it ever came in use was for a play where I was playing a taxi driver, and we were in New York. I was like, yeah, I can fucking do this, no problem. So, and like, so I graduate from high school. My grandma McWee, Bob's wife, Robert's wife. I got a lot of Bobs in my life. I'm just now realizing this. Shit. Pap's wife, my grandpa.
Now, were any
Isabella.
of them like Bob from NoFX?
Robert.
Did any of them have to ride a scooter to work?
My friend in high school, Robert, is now.
Just if you guys want, just go listen to Bob from NoFX, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. Watch
Listen
the video.
Yeah,
The video
video
paints
works.
the whole picture. It's
So, bouncing back and forth between Arizona and New York. The last year that I'm in New York was like 2001. No, 2000. Because, yes, 2000. I wasn't 18 yet. I was 17. And my grandma was like, I'm going to give you my living will. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then she gave me a check for like 10 grand. And I was like, oh, okay. So I graduated from high school. My dad's like, well, are you going to sign up for the Navy? And I was like, we'll see. When I graduate from high school, we go to the lake. I jump off of a cliff and miss the water. And I shatter my left shin. Before that was a football accident that ripped the shit out of my ACL and my left knee. Like fucking
wait.
crutches, all that.
How do you miss the water? Because I don't have a fear of like cliff diving and missing the water, but I have a fear of it being too shallow. But the girl that I dated before Susan, where her parents lived, there was also a canal, and she said they used to go dive off off one of the docks, and then one day, one of the moms, I think, dove off it. They had no idea there's a tree stump that had been there for years. And she went straight down, broke her neck. And luckily everyone was there and she wasn't doing it alone, so she survived. But they're like, we had dove off this for years. I have this horrible fear of diving and hitting something underneath it. So you see these people that are jumping off, 40-foot, 50-foot bridge. I'm like, Nope.
So we're at Lake Mojave because that was the closest lake. You're in high school and you live in Arizona. You're going to the lake at least twice a week, whether it's winter or not. Because really, winter for us was like, it's 70 degrees. Fuck. Yep. So
hear that, Tony? Don't bitch about it.
So my buddy Gagno and the girl that I'm sort of dating at the time, were running off this cliff. The girl to my left gets in front of me. And I go, oh, fuck. They all jump and make it to the water. I try to stop because I think I'm going to fucking run this woman over. And I fall. My knee hits. My fucking leg shatters. All that shit. Terrible fucking things happen. And I'm just like, okay, this is fine. I'm bleeding. There's a huge fucking dent in my leg. Some other dudes were there and they're like, hey, are you all right? And I'm like, the water around me is fucking red, and I'm, got scratches all over my face, and I'm like, no, man, I'm not. And Gagno and the gal got up, and they're like, holy fuck. And I was like, yeah, thanks for getting in front of me, you dumb bitch. That relationship ended. So the dudes that were there were like, here's 2 beers. And I was like, yeah. And those 2 beers were gone. I went to the hospital. I went home, and I left.
I don't want to be laughing, but
no, it's funny now. So that happens, and I'm like, okay, so it's the summer of 2001, right? And my dad's like, so you're gonna join, right? I tried. I lasted like 2 weeks in boot camp before they're like, what the fuck's wrong with your leg? This. Oh, get out. Okay. So I get back. I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to Europe. So I go to Europe. I learned to cook. I learned how to do all sorts of shit over there. And for 2.5 months, I'm bouncing around. I'm literally backpacking from country to country to country to country to country, right? I come back home. It's like September 5th, and I'm getting ready to leave again. 2 fucking airplanes changed the course of history for all of us.
Yep.
And so I try to re-up for the Navy again. I can't do it. There's lots of pain in that leg. Like, okay. And so from there, I just kind of wandered. I slung pies. I went to school, got a culinary arts degree from the local college. And it was easy because, like, when you're in Europe and you're like basically a sous chef, like not even that, but like a short order cook, you learn shit because they're fucking yelling at you. So you learn French and you learn how to cook. Those are the two things that I walked away from. I was like, all right, yeah. You know, and like, so that shit happens, and I'm like jobless. So I start slinging pizzas. A guy opens up a comic shop in my town. I'm like, hey, I know a shit ton about comics. I'm running the shop for him. We're getting guests. Everything's going great. Find out that he has a gambling problem. Laughlin, Nevada is 45 minutes away, home of like 30 casinos. Comic shop goes under. Wonder why. From there,
Probably because he bought a bunch of image number ones thinking they were going to be worth the money.
I found image number one Brigade in my backpack in one of my tubs the other day. I was like, this is worth millions. 25 cents.
Which one?
Brigade.
Do I have that one? I bought so many image number ones. And you know what they're worth?
Nothing. So
thank you, fucking Todd McFarlane. Thank you. All because Spawn was worth money. We thought we had to have every number one and every number zero they did.
Nope. Fucking Wizard magazine, man. Oh, special issue 0.5. Oh, sweet. It's worth 0.5 cents.
I have Gen 13 0.
Oh yeah, that's worth pennies.
0.
Yeah.
If I could get what the cover price was, right now I'd be happy.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But they laugh at me.
So 2 airplanes destroy our world. I'm bouncing around jobless and like just everything else in the world. And I find behavioral health. Why do people act like the way that they do? I start working with adults. I start learning why people are the way that they are. You start realizing what's wrong with our country from the way that they treat the mentally handicapped. And you're like, fuck, this is worse than prison, which was a stupid thing to say because I hadn't done any of that yet and I didn't know, but I was wrong. I was way off. But some of the ways that they treat people in the system is atrocious. And it might have changed. This was back in 2001, 2002, but it's, I hope it's different. And so behavioral health happens and I'm working there. I'm slinging pizzas on the side. And then my buddy, Jacob, is like, hey, want to come work at this prison with us? And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, it's a juvenile detention center. And we rehabilitate. That's what we focus on. And me being a dumb kid, I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, right. I was saying what Tristan said. Yeah, but so they take this dumb kid.
I read it.
They treat me, they train me to do all these things. I'm working in the prison. And I go to the academy. I get my shiny badge. And as I'm there, it's for Native Americans. I start becoming somebody I didn't want to be, right? Because like this is a guy that's like listening to punk rock and is like, Rage Against the Machine is my favorite fucking band. Fuck the man. Oh, I am the goddamn it. And I start to change, and I start to think that, well, it's okay to call a black guy the N-word. It's okay to say all these other words, and it's okay to do all these things, right? And like I felt myself slipping further and further like away from what and who I was. And it went back to behavioral health. What was the nature? What was being nurtured for me at the time, right? And like, how susceptible was I? I was young. I wanted to do well, so of course I was growing into that. And we all say we have a past, right? And like my past is being a racist piece of shit for a little bit of my time, right? And more trauma, right? And this is before anything really horrible happened. It's just you feel yourself becoming less human, right? And you don't want to acknowledge it, yeah? And you're like, why am I talking like this? Why am I doing these things? Why am I feeling this outrage for this when before I wasn't? Am I pissed off at the system? Am I pissed off at these people? What am I pissed off about? And it's because I was around people that thought it was okay. And so you start to change. I started to change. And it was okay. And about this time, I met my first wife, and we were working at the behavioral health center together, and that's when I went off and joined Jacob, and and I'm getting closer to God, but for all the wrong reasons while I'm with Summer, and while I'm working this job, and I'm using my religion as a weapon, right? And like, oh, fuck gay people and fuck them and fuck this and fuck that. This is against God's will, right? And I'm becoming that person that all those punk songs and all those ska songs I ever listened to hated, because you're becoming a piece of shit. And I'm becoming that piece of shit, right? And like, I fucking hate myself. I don't know this at the time. I don't realize it. I'm not acknowledging it. I just know that I'm not. Something is wrong. And Summer and I are talking and this and that, and there's no happy ending to this story. There's an ending, it's a conclusion. So Summer and I are getting along like gangbusters, We get married. My dad wears a suit for the first time in his life, and he fucking is a handsome fella. He's about 5'7" and like 300 pounds, so he's almost 80 now. My mom is in a nice dress. All of our friends and family throughout the years come, and we get married. Go to Florida for a week, spend it at Universal Studios and fucking Disneyland or Disney World, because we're those people. We went to...
Dude, I don't want to hear it, because I'm planning on going again, hopefully next year. But for Olivia's like senior thing for the 5th time. I love Disney World. I don't care if people say shit. I love it.
I love it too. I love Disney parks. So we go to Florida and we go to all these parks, and like one night I'm like, I'm taking you to the nicest dinner you've ever had. And she's like, okay. And I'm getting my suit on. She's getting her fucking most luxurious dress on. And we pull up to the fucking Knights table, or Knights of the Round, or whatever the fuck it's called. Remember the thing from Cable Guy where like the guys are in armor?
Okay, is it one of those shows where my dad took us the first time? So like you're in a big stadium.
Yeah.
And you have nice dinners, and yes, we went to one of those. Fucking awesome.
Right? And so
awesome.
I took my 5-day old wife to that. And she's like, are you kidding me? I was like, no, this is gonna be really fucking good. And we had drinks and we had food, and like I pulled the fucking Jim Carrey when the gal walked up to me, and I was like, can I get a fork? And she's like, there's no forks here in medieval times. And I was like, but we have Pepsi? She left. We didn't get any more refills after that. And so, we're doing all this, and we're in Florida, and we go to the Space Center, and we go to, Kissimmee Beach and everything else, and like all that stuff, and we go and we have a great time. And Summer's like, you're not angry. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, when we're home, you're angry. So we go back home, work resumes, life resumes, and we're just going on and on and on, and that stuck with me. You're angry when you're at home. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I start slinging pizzas on the side, so I'm working 12 hours a day, and then I come home, or go work at Papa John's as an assistant manager for a couple of hours, go home, come back to work, and then I quit Papa John's because my raid team in World of Warcraft got signed, and we were making money doing that. So, okay. So, video games.
You're what?
World of Warcraft is an MMORPG.
I know that, but what team?
Raids, like we raided. So we went to, and we got world first, and like we got a team that sponsored us. We had like keyboards and the whole fucking 9 yards. It was the nerdiest fucking stupid thing ever, and we loved it. I loved it. So it was 12 hours at work, 6 hours on a game, and then sleep somewhere in between, and then spend time with my wife.
It's
a raid team.
No.
So you're a raid team. A raid team is 10 to 40 people, all working for the same goal. If anything, it taught us how to do teamwork better. Just like Dungeons and Dragons.
I know, it was so perfect.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we're doing this, we're doing that.
As I'm looking around at all these toys.
Right? No shit. I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Isn't that a fucking giant 7-foot fucking aircraft carrier behind you?
Yeah, I may have no room to talk, but I still do.
Yeah, I know. So I was the head of our paladins, and I was head healer and all this other stupid shit. And summer, I go to BlizzCon, which is this big convention. I meet all of my raid team for the first time in person, and we're all having a good time. And I'm hanging out with our guild leader, and I leave. And 3 hours later, the co-guild leader calls us all to like the lounge. Okay, he's like, "So the guild is officially done," and we're all like, "What? We're about to make serious money here. Like, what are we doing?" Michael was caught sleeping with my wife and my daughter. I was like, "Okay, like here?" He's like, "Yeah, here."
Wait.
About 2.5 hours ago.
I'm sorry, you kind of broke up. Michael got caught sleeping with his wife. I think you're breaking up on my end. Okay, so wait, he was having a threesome, or just he was it? So was it? Please tell me it wasn't like her mom.
Yes.
Okay, that is messed up in so many levels.
Dude, you have no idea. So the guild broke up. We stopped raiding.
Well, it sounds like one of them was raiding, and what the fuck?
And it turned like this. It turned like this awesome weekend into like shit, and we're just like, "Oh fuck it." I drove back to Arizona.
For you,
like we're
supposed
to be there for like another 4 days.
Michael sounds like he had the greatest.
I mean, Michael was having a great fucking time. Right?
Sorry, Michael's like fucking awesome. Like, although I don't think I want to sleep with someone. I don't want to sleep with someone like mom and daughter. I don't know. That's just no. Like that's just creepy.
Yeah,
right.
That's really creepy.
I'm not the only one. The mom and stepdaughter, like, oh, okay. There's no relation there. It's still creepy, but at least you can say there's no relation.
I mean, that's like,
it's still weird.
Yeah.
You know, as someone who has a 28-year-old stepdaughter, you know, that's why like I find it really weird when I see someone my age in my age range is dating someone that's that young. You don't have nothing in fucking common.
Nothing.
All right. I'm not dating anyone that's younger than my daughter.
That's a good rule.
Any of my kids.
It's a good rule.
And again, because I have like, I don't know, 20 plus years on her, I think I can fit in that age range.
Yeah. So I drive back to Arizona, and Summer and I decide time to have children. Okay. No, my wife wasn't involved with Michael or any of that. No.
Jeff's wife was not there. Well, maybe
Jeff's wife was not there. This was Michael, the guild leader, the co-guild leader's wife, and the co-guild leader's daughter. So scum. So
I still want to meet Michael.
I kind of, yeah. No.
I don't know. I kind of want to have him on the show now because I'm thinking like you have a hell of a story.
Hey man, how'd you get 2 chicks at the same time?
Do you have $1 million?
Yeah, 2 chicks at the same time, man. Well, what? Well, you know.
Okay, so Matthew's saying it did sound like you said it was your wife.
My apologies. I said when I got home, my wife and I decided to start making babies.
Random was confused. I mean, Random's always confused. So
it was my fault, and I apologize.
It's all right.
So Summer and I decided let's have children because I'm becoming a racist piece of shit. I'm hating everything, and this sounds like a great idea.
Why not have a kid to hate too?
Not have a kid.
All right.
So you know, the best part is trying. You know, and we she gets pregnant, right? And life is good. 2-3 months into it, there's a problem. And that problem became a bigger problem. And then it became a bigger problem. And then it wasn't a problem. So we Lawrence, can we take a break?
Yes. Oh, hey guys. So Lawrence, he had to step away for a little bit. He's got a case of the grumble dust. So he asked me to kind of watch over a stream. He put me in charge of y'all. He said to me, "Oh, Moss Man, I have a case of the grumble dust, and I need you to watch myself for a little bit so nobody leaves and finds out that there's more interesting things to watch on YouTube. And also, I hate Ohio." So I was like, "Oh, dang, so now I have to come up with a topic for my very own show." And I was like, "Oh, what about talking about your favorite toy stores?" So my favorite toy store is HelloDopeToys.com. So they used to have this really bad website. It used to look real scammy. Like if I gave them money, they were going to go spend it on like blow and hookers. But now their website is really nice. And like I can just go in and do like 1-2 click. And then my order's placed. And they ship super fast, guys. They ship everything in 1 business day. So like I get all my toys first. So when I'm out there on the playground and all my friends are like, "Oh, dang, Moss Man, where'd you get that action figure? I still have to wait 17 months for mine." And I'm just like, "Well, I went to HelloDopeToys.com and I just pushed the buttons and then they shipped it out to me." And the packaging is so nice, guys. Like, I opened up the box and I thought, "Oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this kind of packaging. It's so nice." But then my trash can gets full because of all the packing stuff. And I was just like, "Oh, dang, I just changed the trash. But now I gotta change the trash again." Oh, you're right, Matthew Matson. You can use the code APWT at HelloDopeToys.com and save 10% on your order. So how that works is, so you're gonna save 10%, and then a Punk with Toys, he has to pay that 10% that y'all saved. So if you don't like Lawrence, you can just go to HelloDopeToys.com and just buy a bunch of stuff and rack up his bill. So then like at the end of the month, they're like, Hello Dope Toys is like, "Oh, Lawrence, you owe us $1 million because of all the 10% codes that everybody used." And yeah, that's how that works. Okay, guys, so it looks like it's time for me to go now. So make sure you go to HelloDopeToys.com and like and subscribe, and then in the comments put what your favorite toy store is. But if it's not HelloDopeToys.com, I'm probably just going to delete it, okay? So, all right, guys, bye! All right, so I somewhat know this the story. Okay, Jeff is back, so I somewhat know the story. I'm not going to tell it. It's Jeff's story to tell if he wants to tell it. I know Jeff did say that he wasn't going to talk about it. So I'm going to bring him on again. And, Jeff, I just want to let you know, like, if it's something you don't want to talk about or you feel you can't, don't feel like you.
I got it because there's other people that have been through this.
Okay.
Like, this is one of the worst fucking things in your life to do. Other people have felt this before, and like, hey, if somebody watches and they go, "That guy went through it, he's still here," maybe it'll stop him from making a mistake because, you can fucking survive anything if you try hard enough. And you can make it to the next day if you really fucking want to. And 6 months later, my marriage dissolved. Okay, so I quit working at the juvenile facility, and I go back to just slinging fucking pizza. It's full time. Jacob's asking me to come back. My sergeant's asking me to come back. My battle buddy's asking me to come back, and I just fucking take a break from that for a good year and a half, right? I'm slinging pizza. I meet a girl named, doesn't matter what her fucking name is. She lived in Germany. She said that she was a teacher. She taught DOD kids. Okay. that turns into something more. She moves, and things get pretty good. And we keep going forward. And then like one weekend I go up to see her, and life is great, everything is fine, and I meet her husband.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I handed him my key and I left. Came back to Kingman and just kept slinging pie. I did eventually go back. I did eventually re-up on everything because it had been too long, so I had to go to the academy and all that. I didn't get to keep my rank, so I started out as a year 1 again, which sucked. But and that's when the toy thing came into play more.
Well, first off, I think we're all like. I think everyone wants to know: did Michael stay with either one of the mom or daughter? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Mallrats. Well,
right? Like, did he come or not?
There's things you don't. If anyone, like, sometimes you have to break the tension. I've kind of learned over doing some of these that have gotten dark that you do have to sometimes break the tension, but you also have to know when not to do it. And I want to know, Michael.
I had a breather. I bet Dobby. We're good.
Okay, so. And if you guys have never seen Mallrats, go watch
need to fix that. Like,
yes.
Now. Yeah.
Not right now.
But later.
Well, so Todd says it was just one night fling punk. Do we know this?
I don't know. I have no idea what happened.
Up.
Yeah, like we all like poof, like we avoided each other. We didn't talk to each other. There was a couple of us that were still fucking pals and stuff, but I mean, we didn't worry about Michael anymore because they're like, well, this guy's okay,
I mean, he might.
I don't know what happened.
He might not be
I
the
don't
best
care.
guy, but good lord, like, come on, dude. He has a story to tell.
Yeah, right. You gotta find him. You get him on here.
Thursday with a Michael.
So I go hard to I go hard to the paint back at the juvenile facility, right? And like I'm working there, and like I'm teaching kids. And then so throughout the day, like they have homeschool, but like their homeschool's on a computer, and like all this other.
Michael was actually the real Leroy Jenkins.
And he ran in there and came. So. And so I get back to work.
Viper Scott, I'm not reading that, but.
So, no, not him.
This is what we do at this show. We go from the darkest, saddest point to then laughing with tears, which is life.
So, right, that is life. And so toys had been out of my life like up until this point, and
so you weren't. Yeah. Now, were you reading comics still? I mean, you're still doing nerd stuff.
I'm playing D&D when I can, and I'm reading comic books, and
I don't mean that in a bad way, but we're all
I know what you mean. I am still buying Lego at this point. There's like a closet full of Lego at my old house when all this was going on. Like,
no, I love Legos. Boxes. I think Legos are a lot of fun, and you can get so many Legos. I didn't realize how mad that made people.
It doesn't make me mad. It just makes me laugh because that pisses people off.
But I didn't know it till recently.
Well, I know, but you know it now, and you're just like Legos. Would you like some Legos?
It's like calling something a clip when it's a mag. Holy shit! Will people
don't do that?
Oh, I know. And you know what? I like when people will educate me and say in a nice way, but then there's people that are complete assholes. And I went and I watched a video on what the difference between a mag and a clip are, and I understand that there is a completely different. At the same time, why do you get that mad when we're talking about reviewing a toy and you call a magazine a clip? I'm not
Maybe
reviewing the
unspeaker.
actual gun. If I was reviewing the gun, like a real gun, then I guess I could understand why someone might get mad that you don't know the terminology. But I get people mad that I say it's an M16 and it's an M4, and it's like, wow. Anyway, that was a sidebar.
That was a sidebar. That was a big sidebar. So back hard in the paint, working at this facility and like teaching kids how to like read and like all that shit and assisting them with their education. And
Clint, you missed a lot. I'm just saying, you missed a lot.
buckle up. Nika, Jesus. Does he do that on purpose?
No, he doesn't.
All right, then I'm not going to hold it against him anymore.
No, Baldy, I do not believe he pronounces it Nika on purpose.
Okay.
He may start doing it now. He's very, I can tell usually when Baldy is doing stuff as a skit or a gimmick. Others can't. Others think they got him, and I'm like, oh my god, dude. This guy sat down for 2 hours and he's like, I'm gonna fuck with you. And you think you got him on something, and I'm going, as I'm reading it, going, you're so stupid. You are so stupid.
You're so stupid. Nice teeth in the background, by the way. It looks like some good chompers.
They're actually chomping on a log here.
Yeah.
I like to show what you can do with teeth.
Yeah, that's a good plan. Yeah.
Anyway.
And these kids are in for like petty bullshit, and like there's some kids that are in for like horrible bullshit. And there's some kids that are so emotionally upset that they self-delete.
That's sad.
Yep. They're like 15, 14. And I'm the asshole that was there first most of the time, right? And you work on the kid, 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 you work on the kid. Your knees are fucking going, your back's shot already. You're fucking yelling at people, shouting orders, and you're working on this kid, right? And you're working on this kid. And you see it when he dies. You see it. You fucking know that kid is fucking dead. And you can't do a fucking thing about it. But you're still working on him because nobody's tapped you on that shoulder and has said, Jeff, you need to move. Or Mac, you need to get off. But really, though, they have. But all you're trying to do is save that fucking kid. Bring that fucking kid back. If you can bring that fucking kid back, you'll get your wife back. You'll have kids. Bring that fucking kid back, Jeff. Bring it fucking back. Bring him back. Bring him back. Right? Big Cat was the only one that could stop me from fucking going nuts like that. Big Cat was my battle buddy. Big Cat was my friend in high school. We played football together. Big Cat. And so that shit would happen. And I would need to fucking go somewhere else for like a little while, right? And so I would watch toy hunters and toy reviews and like pop culture things. So Michael French was one of them because I liked all the information that he gave. Not Another Retro Channel, Greco Fabulous, Ed's Retro Geek Out. Those 4 channels kept me fucking sane while I was going insane. And this is about the same time that I started realizing that I'm angry for all the wrong reasons. And so time goes on, more things happen, bad things, and I meet this girl named Emily. Emily lives here in Oklahoma, and we're miles, like 13 hours, 1,300 miles away, right? And it keeps getting better and better and better, and I go out and visit. Her dog loves me. Her parents love me. I love them. Brother is kind of a shithead.
I thought you were going to say, I love me.
Yeah. Nah, I didn't start loving me until
She
recently.
loves me. Dog loves me. Parents love. I love me.
Her brother did not for the longest time, and like one of the first things he ever said to me was, "You don't have to talk to me." And I was like, "Oh." And then I asked him, "You've never had your ass kicked before, have you?" He went, "No." Oh, okay. And so, first trip it goes great. The second trip she comes out and she hangs out with me at my place, and she sees all the Lego and she's like, "Holy shit, you're really into this." And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "That's awesome. Did I just find my fucking unicorn? Is that what just fucking happened?" And so eventually I leave my career and I moved to Oklahoma. Been here
Said
for
nobody ever.
right? Oh, man. Man, did I fuck up. But I was so happy, you know? Like I I loved Emily in ways that were different than I love Summer. And like Emily kind of brought me out of the hole that I was digging for myself. She helped me dig the hole, right? Like undig the hole. Unbury me. Her family and her showed me that there could be a better way of going about things, and I started doing that. You know, started feeling better about myself, and you know, odd jobs here and there, and then do you know that trauma affects mental health? I found that out, and
Kind of goes hand in hand.
yeah, I got diagnosed with a bunch of shit. I take 15 pills a day to be okay, and that's after 2 years of different meds, everything else, right? Like, and you know, we were joking about I love myself, but like, I can finally say that and like actually mean it. You know what I mean? And that's helped out a lot, but I'm still not right about a lot of things, and I'm wrong about a lot of things, and that's what counseling is for, and all that. So go talk to somebody; it does wonders for you. I promise.
And BetterHelp,
And
I would be more than happy to be a sponsor of yours.
you know,
You
I
know,
don't go to the gym or anything anymore, but I walk 30 minutes a day.
so I'm one of those people. My dad made me go see a counselor once or twice after my mom passed away, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need to see a counselor. And I think I went once or twice. And he said, "You go. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go again." And I never went back in. I've never gone to a counselor for anything.
Mhm.
I'm one of those people. Anything that I've been through in my life, I do not need a counselor.
Okay.
But I'm also one of those people that know that people do need one, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people that are like me that have found a way to deal with things, not having to need counselors. A lot of people that are like me feel like, dude, you just go ride your skateboard, you'll be fine. Go buy some more toys. Like, not everyone can do that. Not everyone can separate what's going on inside there. And I'm very odd for someone at 13 who lost my mother to be able to separate that type of stuff. But growing up, I watched a lot of other friends of mine that lost parents, and they handled it completely different.
Yeah.
Some really bad, some differently, but in a good way. So I'm one of those people that is a firm believer in counseling, and there's nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
I cannot believe that we live in a society still that it is looked down upon if a guy goes and sees a counselor.
It's really shitty. You know, it's exactly that. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that will live with this stuff and they'll start doing what I was doing, which is hating
Yeah.
everything, right? And like they don't realize that they're doing it. And it's like if you go talk to a fucking counselor or a shrink or something, you know, like maybe a little right your course, because nobody should be this hateful or this angry about anything less than something catastrophic. You know what I mean?
Clint, I'm gonna disagree with this because It's not, or else people would still go, or people would go when they don't need, when they need it. It's
Yeah.
less, but there still is a stigma from certain people. It's less, but there's a reason why people still won't go because there is a stigma. Would you
I
agree
mean,
with that?
yeah, I agree that it's less, but I don't think it's gone. I wish it was gone, but more and more men of our age group are realizing that it's okay to ask for help,
Yes.
and that's a big deal too. Like, don't don't let your outside dictate your inside. You know what I mean? Like, does that make any sense? Like, you need to be able to be yourself and not
Mhm.
feel that weight that's not really there. Because we all carry around stuff, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
from Christmas Carol, fucking Marley. He's got the chains that bound him to whatever to his life. You know what I mean? Yeah, Matthew is 100% correct, as per usual.
Just ask them.
Yeah. Yeah, that joke, between me and my brother, we know everything, but Matthew doesn't have to do me and my brother. He just says, I know everything. And then when he doesn't know something, he'll say, oh, that just doesn't exist.
Now you're getting a roundhouse come fucking DFW. Just saying.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
A matter of fact, take 2 extra ones for myself and Ed.
Will do. Don't tell me he's right. Come on, Jeff. So through Emily, I meet somebody that I call my sister, and like, I did not realize that my sister was not fully a sister at the time, and I had no fucking idea what any of that meant. And so I went, okay, and once again,
Now,
well, that's fucking.
now you mentioned her to me numerous times, and that's when I asked you, did your parents have any other kids? And you said no, and so I was trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Even during this stream. So who is this person? Because and like, who is she to you? I know you say she's your sister, but how?
She's a really good friend.
Okay.
That's all she was, and I supported her in
But
several times.
she's not related to Emily or anything. Just
No, nothing like that. No, we're just all like good friends. Or
Okay.
we were. And just so I learned about that community, right? The LGBTQ plus community, right? And
you do have to let people know, because I know, but not everyone else.
Mhm.
So.
And my sister is trans, and she's transitioning. And she's been through hell, and I've stopped it when I can, and otherwise, there's not much I can do. But she's an amazing human being, and she's a wonderful person. And it's all about that hate, right? You see it, and you don't know why you hate it, so you initially just fucking go for it, right? You fucking hate it. But you got to get educated too. You know what I mean? Like, you got to learn about this. Like, this person might be coming off as a fucking nutcase to you, right? Because, like, okay, sure. But on the other hand, all these studies, gender studies from biologists and scientists and everything else, right? Maybe there's something to it all. And if you believe this and it's not fucking hurting anybody and it's your life to live your best life.
I agree 100%.
I see this shit, and I see trans folks getting treated like less than human, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, didn't anything in the last 100 years teach any of us to not be pieces of shit? Like, didn't any of that fucking matter? Didn't any of that matter to anybody? And fuck, man, just my grandfather, before he died, and I quote, "I fought the fuckers in the 40s. I'll fight them again if I have to." In the current state of our world, and I'm just going to leave it there. So, and all that hate and everything else and all that bullshit that goes along with it is simply that. It's bullshit. And I'm not perfect in any sense of the word. I lose my cool. I get angry. Kyle, unfortunately, knows that I get angry. And, but I try to learn from everything that I've ever done. And I'm extremely nervous talking about this. That's why I got this gun right here. Does Roman need to go out?
I just texted my daughter, so hopefully she'll read
it. So,
I'll call for her if I.
And I wondered where that irrational anger would come from, and like why I would go from 0 to fucking 1,000, and like it goes back to my dad. That man had no fucking chill. Like when we would play like Mario Brothers together when we first got it, I'm small, I don't have any powers, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and it would just be like cascading levels of anger, and like that happened all of my life. And when I moved out here, that stopped. And it pops up, and unfortunately it popped up yesterday, the day before. And Kyle, I want to say I'm sorry. You're here. I was going to say it anyway. And I do value your friendship, and I'm sorry that I lost it. It was a stupid thing that was about, and I just fucking... Anyway, moving right along. The toys, right? Toys. That's what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Are we? I mean...
I'd like to at this point, yeah.
Did Kyle make you mad because he's 26 years old and probably thinks he knows everything about life?
No, we were
kind of like a 19-year-old that lives in my house.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And Kyle's going to be staying with us at DFW at the Airbnb, which once again, Matthew Manson, you are invited to the fucking barbecue on Sunday. So it's going to be good. Toys do make people angry, and I know all about that, and that's why I kind of went from all that shit. Like the toy journey has been so fucking weird for me, right? Like, it's correct.
See, I disagree. I'm sorry. Life is too short, though. I completely disagree. You fucked me over. I want to have nothing to do with you, and I'm perfectly fine with that. It goes back to that. You know that joke where the guy's like, it doesn't cost anything to be a good guy. And they say, well, how much does it cost to be an asshole? It doesn't cost anything, does it?
Not a goddamn thing.
All right. I'm going to let you talk. I need to yell.
All right, go for it. Yeah, kick this goddamn dog out.
I texted her. It's not like she doesn't have her phone on her. All right. Oh, she's reading her book for school. I'll actually believe it because she's all A's. So
the toy thing actually picked up when I got to Oklahoma, right? So like I meet Craig and I meet Boston Mike and I meet Greco Fabulous and like they're into vintage toys. And
she's like yelling up for her. They don't figure it out. Like you have to get up, walk over there, say, Roman, want to go outside? Go open the door. He'll come running down.
I just asked Dobby if he needs to go outside, go putty.
Yes.
No, not right now, buddy.
But
he like pokes his head around the door.
But they only do it when they have to if they're downstairs. Other than that, I'm the one. You want to go outside? Let's go. Go. Come on. Go. Okay. A lot of times I'll wait at the stairs. That's why I don't.
Yeah.
Like in the morning when I go to go downstairs, he stops. I'm like, boy, I can't get by you.
One of two things will happen here, buddy.
No, she's studying she's doing homework right now. Like that's
important.
Again, this girl is an all-A student, wants to go to Michigan to be a lawyer.
Shit.
Yes. She's very smart. And if you know anything, Michigan is a very expensive school and a very hard school to get in. Yeah. It's the Harvard of the Midwest.
You're not wrong. I heard Ohio.
I'm not, but it's very arrogant to say. All right, so we're talking about toys.
We're talking about toys.
So
I meet Ed and and Craig and all those fucking people, and I'm like, okay, and they're really into vintage, and I'm not. I'm into Lego, and we all just kind of, have like a modern like take on everything, and like we're all one guy, and when it represents like a toy or whatever. So like, okay, you know. And as we progress further and further, I meet Cincy Nerd. I don't know if anybody's met him or not, but Cincy Nerd's fucking awesome, dude.
You've talked to me about him, but I have no idea who he is.
I love
Does
Dan.
he know who I am? That is the big question.
I mean, he's got like almost 100,000 subscribers, so he might. And so I meet.
I
Cincy
care about.
Nerd. Yeah.
Do they know who I am? I'm not arrogant. My ego's so big.
He's cocky.
My ego's so fucking big.
It's taller than you.
I know.
So
since I started doing YouTube, I have to wear a hat that's about 4 sizes bigger than it used to be.
It's gotta go sideways through doors so you can fit your fucking head through. Yeah.
I carry Vaseline just so I can Vaseline it up to get through the door.
Yep. And that way, if you need to go to a Diddy party right after, you can too, because you got that vest.
I'm never going to one of those.
Good
I don't
call.
think anyone. Well, I think all the Diddy parties are going to be
in Cell Block C pretty soon here. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So
if you had P Diddy on your bingo card tonight, you may have won.
If you have, great. So these fucking shitty things, whatever. I meet these guys. I meet Cincy, and Cincy's into modern, and I'm like, okay, cool, modern. And like about this time, I pick up my first classifieds, and he's like, yeah, I'm getting those too. I was like, cool. So we bond over classifieds, and then I learn about this toy company called Mayfix, and I go, okay,
Mayfix
and I ignore it. Okay.
No, I'm seriously asking. Is it Mayfix or Mafex?
Well, I say Mayfix, and I'm sure somebody else will say Mafex. So
I usually say Mafex, but I also say Mayfix at times too.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I was actually being serious because I know it's NECA. It's not Nika.
It's NECA, yeah.
Yeah.
NECA was the first problem for me because I found out that they had the TMNT Turtles and
I just got canceled faster than a Target pre-order.
He's not wrong.
I've never had a Target pre-order canceled on me.
Yeah, I have. It's not a good time. So Dan and I are talking modern. I learn about Mayfix, and then fucking Laser Pants. Better Times is what I'm talking about. He decides that he's going to show off as real Batman. I'm like, fuck, that's a really good figure. And then Cincy is like, hey, I'm selling mine for, $75 since we're friends, Jeff.
So Matthew has spoken. Mafex is how it's pronounced because it's Japanese. I don't know why. Like, why can't it be Mayfix?
Yeah, man.
It's Japanese too. But
and so I go, okay, but I buy Leonardo from Turtles in Time by NECA first. And I'm like, this is a one and done. Well, soon it's Donatello. Then it's Michelangelo. Then it's Raph. And they need foot soldiers to fight, right? And, and Multiverse, DC Multiverse has started coming out. Well, I can finally get a Batman, right? Well, it's not that Batman that I want. It's fucking this Batman. And it all starts adding up, and I'm still avoiding Mayfix. I'm still avoiding Mafex. And finally, I go to a convention down there, and since he's like, I'll give it to you for $60, Jeff. Here's my money. And therein became the problem. And I'm only going to buy DC figures. Turned into, fuck it. I'm going to get what I want. And that's how I got started with these things. And Mezco, and now Figma, and SH Figure Arts, and non-Mezco, but fucking really awesome figures I can't think of the name of. The ones that made that Kingdom Come Superman.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's right there. It's in the case behind me, but I'm fat, so you can't see it. And I meet some guys, and I meet Woody, and I meet Shane through all of this, right? And like I had a lot of false starts with people, and I don't think that that's the case at this point. I think that Shane, Woody, and I, and Gonzo, and Kyle, I think we all have something really special when it comes to friendship. The same with Legend Series.
Now, did
I
you
call him my.
Now, did you tell Kyle this and he just had to agree, or what?
No.
When you yelled at him, we are friends, and you're gonna like it.
That's right. Kyle did piss me off so bad that I logged into Fortnite and like had the best game of my fucking life because I was listening to Rancid and fucking Op Ivy and was just like had it in one ear and then game sounds in the other and was just fucking murdering. Yeah.
Their
Big
customer
truth.
service is awful.
Hot garbage. I sure am glad I ordered Mezco Nightwing. It's only been pushed back 3 times so far this year.
Yeah, I think I'll just order through BBTS unless it's a Mezco exclusive.
Yeah.
Or wait till Sergeant Reds gets it.
Yeah, there's a shop in town that is not Sergeant Red's, but it's a good comic and toy shop I go to for a bunch of stuff. Anyway, so you know, Mofex happens, and then I find a mask toy, right? And it's Thunderhawk. And I'm like, holy shit. So I start digging more, and I find Rhino. And I go, holy shit. And I find Switchblade missing its blades. And I go, holy shit.
So just switch?
No, not even that. Like, that mechanism's fucked. So, Mask, you know, came flashing back to me, and I was like, I love this shit. You know? And so I started buying pieces. Fellas were, you know, helping me look for stuff and like everything else. And that friendship with those dudes in Texas became stronger. And like, I got involved with them on side projects, like both movies and like other stuff. And like, got to know their wives and their kids and everything else. And like, you make your own family as you go through life, right? Like whether it be your actual family or, you know, not blood related family. And those guys are, you know, very important to me. And as are the fellas that are going to be next month for the first time. You know, there's a big deal. And if you can have a human connection over something you both enjoy, then that's, you know, even better. But
no, you're absolutely correct. I sat there, both my ex and I sat there telling our son, these aren't your friends. You don't know these people. You need to meet, you know, you need to meet more kids at school and stuff like that, right? And then I started doing this. And everything that I said, you can't make any money on YouTube. Okay, well, that's not true. You're probably not going to be Mr. Beast, but if you know how to work it properly, you can make an actual living on YouTube. Yeah. These people aren't your friends. These are just people. Well, guess what? Tony, I don't think he's here, so don't tell him. Well, he's one of my best friends. I talk to the guy 5 days a week, probably on the phone. All right. Ed, Matthew, like these guys have become my friends. I also think the visual medium changes everything.
Yeah.
Because you're not in a chat room. You know? I think that changed it. But then when you actually get to meet them in person and all the people you work with that go, oh, you mean those online friends? And you'd be like, they're not online friends anymore.
Yeah.
I've met them.
I 110% like agree. Like I knew Matthew before. I didn't know Matthew, but I knew who Matthew was before DFW and everything else. And like one of my biggest regrets last year was not talking to Matthew more. Like I'm dead serious. I like the cat a whole lot, and like Matthew, whether he knows it or not, kind of influenced me in like thinking for myself about some things, and like that's why my social circles changed, and that's why I do this now instead of that. And like Matthew is one of the few people that, whether he knew it or not, was encouraging me to become better, and I take that very seriously. And Chad was doing it as well. You know, and like those two people, one of them knows how much they meant to me, and the other one knows too, whether he knew it beforehand or not.
Matthew knew it.
Probably. And that's
he's a good guy.
He is. That's why I'm like, That's why I'm breathing down his neck about the fucking barbecue. Like, I want him there. Woody wants him there. Gonzo doesn't know you, but Gonzo wants you there. Kyle wants you there. We're the people paying for the fucking house, dude. We want you there, you know? And like, you know, through Matthew, I met Pop Blender, and through like all these other people, I'm like, I don't agree with what they say, but with what they say sometimes, but like, I don't feel like a shithead if I disagree with them.
So, okay, you're saying something right there, and I actually wanted to bring this up when you were talking about your sister.
Yeah.
And that the fact that she's transgender,
Yeah.
and that you didn't know anything about the community. And I have to say, whether or not you agree or I agree with the LGBT community, whether or not I agree with a Republican or a Democrat, a liberal or conservative, there is no reason why I can't accept someone else's stance on something, as long as they are not a piece of shit Nazi, which I know I'm not supposed to say.
Well, as long as they don't have a funny armband on and a shitty mustache, I think we're clear.
Yeah,
you know?
or a PDF file. Like, you're not hurting me. The people that say I don't want my kids to see two men kissing in public or two girls kissing in public. I don't want my kids at a young age to see a guy and a girl kissing in public either.
Yeah, I don't want my kids to grow up to be fucking hate mongers like you.
Yeah, and we don't have to agree. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree, whatever. We don't have to agree with how someone feels, but we have to accept that that's how they feel. And if they're not hurting me and they're not hurting my kids and your kids and you, and what is the harm? It's not going to hurt anything.
It's like drag queens, right? Drag queens are fucking hilarious people, but apparently they're the devil.
Hold on, you gotta be. I'm surprised Olivia hasn't run up here yet. I can't fucking come home and not see that stupid drag queen show.
No, fair. I don't like that show. I'm just saying they're not the devil.
No, I don't care. No, I'm just saying, like, I come home and she's watching it every single day. Well, what the hell is this? You know, football drag queens, and like she's like so into it.
What's up, GI Jet Man?
She's like so into it, and I'm like,
Kenzo, you miss sad prison stories and me crying on camera.
So I'm surprised you said drag queens. I'm surprised she didn't show up.
Right? No shit, right? It's like a bad signal, apparently.
I was downstairs filming something. I think I was filming something, or I was doing something, and it's on, and I hear it. And she's like, "You hear that? You hear that?" I'm like, "Yeah, Buffy's on right now. Come up here." Oh, I don't. Why do I have to come up? I know. And then today she's like, "Did you see that? Buffy was on." I'm like, "We already talked about." It was another episode. Oh shit! Here she comes. Okay. But it's one of her new things that I catch her watching all the time, which is better than some of the other stuff that I watch. Catch her watching. Yeah. Like the three girls that look like triplets. They're not on you. Like they're on YouTube. So annoying. Yeah, you don't.
I only watch like when we were talking about toy stuff, right? I don't really watch any toy channels anymore. There's like two or three that I'll sit and I'll consistently watch. But besides that, it's like game fails, like wiener dog videos, and like really fucking weird and like offbeat survival off the grid in Canada that these people are doing. And like they're called the Scots, and like, yep. And they bought this abandoned house on this island, and like it's hardcore survival in Canada. I don't know why I like it. I'm just like, this is pretty fucking entertaining. And like they've got like a farm going and everything else.
I send so many. They're mostly dog videos to my daughters on Instagram because I have to share them with someone, and sharing them with guys, not the same. So I send them to my daughters, who one is here and deals with Roman and our other dog Sheldon that is at their mom's, and then my daughter has two dogs, you know, And she's like, that's exactly how Momo is. I'm like,
My good friend sends me things that are horrible all the time. So
I have a
I
friend
would like
like
some
that.
dog videos. That'd be nice, but not nightmare fueled ones. That's good too.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I have someone too that also sends me awful videos all day long.
Good to
I'm
know I'm
not
not
gonna
the only
mention his
one.
name. Not gonna mention his name or anything.
That figures.
If I die before I wake, erase my fucking history with action figs.
Oh shit.
I hope Ed is listening. That's gonna be our prayer at Joe Fest. If I die before I
shit.
wake.
Please erase our conversations. Please.
Again, though, I get sent stuff all the time. And when you know somebody, you can send stuff to them because you know how they feel, that they can take things as a joke. I get stuff sent by other people that don't really know me.
And you're like, what the fuck?
And I'm like, do you think I'm a racist piece of shit? You must. Do you think I'm a homophobe? You must. Like, and I get it from all sides. Again, I get liberal stuff sent. I get conservative stuff sent.
Ugh.
I
understand. I get it. I
get.
don't get stuff like that. I just get like really off the wall weird shit.
No, I get racist stuff sent.
Ugh.
I get the Mexican hate stuff sent, or the racist Mexican stuff sent from Johnny Reno, who's a full-blown Mexican living in Arizona. And Tony gets it too from him. All right. So you know where he's. I actually had to tell Johnny, I go, because he was sending me stuff all the time. And I go, hey, just so you know, I don't speak Spanish. And he's like, but I thought you could understand it. I'm like, no, I don't. The only Spanish I know is what I learned from Dora.
Nice. Okay, so this is fucking hilarious what Hi It's Me just said. I do not, but my mother does.
Okay.
Yep. There's a wiener dog influencer, and he does crazy adventures. I think it's the one that dresses up. And so the whole reason that I'm into dash hounds is because of my fucking parents. Like, I've never not had a dash hound in my life.
Okay.
And yeah. So Scooter and Dozer, Fritzy, Aries, Casey, Henry, and Dobby. And man, like I don't know what life would be like without like a dog. I don't want to imagine that, you know. So.
Dachshund.
Sure. Dash hound, wiener dog.
There's someone who I followed him on Facebook, and I haven't really seen him pop up, but I think because I wasn't clicking. Zeusy the Talking Pity, if I remember, I think that's how it is. And this dog is like, I mean, it's a pity. It's a pit named Zeus, and he talks to his owner like crazy. Like, and then he got another one, and who isn't nearly as talkative as Zeus. Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious to watch because their personalities. I think most dog breeds, they have very similar personalities between each of them, but they are individual. Like Roman is different than other. He's different than other pit bulls. You know,
Dobby is different than Henry and Aries and Casey.
But you see common characteristics. You know, Allison says, I haven't had a dog in my life since I broke up with my ex. I didn't have to deal with his mom anymore.
Okay.
That's Allison for you.
Mm-hmm. You tell us about your cat's name, Mittens, and
I forget what her cat's names are. But she does have a couple cats.
okay to be a cat person. I like cats. My dad had a cat for the smallest amount of time when I was a kid. It was a
Cats are awesome.
Siamese. Yeah, they are. It was a Siamese. I don't even remember the fucking cat's name. It might have been Sammy. Fuck, I don't know. A million years ago.
We had a cat named Boots. It was a black and white. It was black with white spots.
Oh, are you sure he wasn't white with black spots?
I'm positive.
Okay.
And then there was a stray cat that came around. It looked just like him.
Oh, shit.
And I mean exactly like him. And then I finally convinced my parents to bring it in. I was determined to name the cat. Determined to name the cat Seymour. And so we named it Seymour.
Nice.
I have no idea why. They looked so much alike. I mean, it was scary where they were at. Like, and then we had to get rid of both of them because after we got Seymour, one started pissing on my bed all the time.
Yeah, it's a good time to get rid of that fucking cat.
But we had to get rid of both of them because they were like, we don't know which one it is. I'm like, it's got to be the new one. Although Boots was a bigger asshole. I do remember that.
All right, so Allison says that she had cats that were not named blah 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 because it's kindergarten shit. Understandable. And Henry's a good name for any pet. My dash hound Henry was 16, 17. He passed away. Henry's a good name. Not that my approval of your pet names mean anything, but it's a good name.
Yeah. I'm not a big cat person.
That's
I don't
fair.
mind them. I don't want one.
Yeah.
I don't. Although the last cat that I had was with not their mom, but the girl before her, and she wanted it. We named it Miss Kitty after Jerry Lawler's wife from wrestling.
I know who that is now.
And Michelle would tell me that because it was supposed to be her cat, and actually when we split up, she kept the cat. And then she later on told me that the cat got away. But she would tell me that the cat hates me. I was like, whatever. She's like, I swear this cat's trying to kill me. I'm like, whatever. And I will never forget, we're in bed sleeping, and I hear, Lawrence. I'm like, what? She's like, look at the cat. And the cat is sitting on her chest and face. And that's what the cat would do at night. It would get on her and try and suffocate her. So close.
That much more, and I would have loved that fucking cat.
Do I have any toys for sale? Not really. I might have some more later coming on, but I still have 3 Valorverse. If you want to know, message me if you want some Valorverse. I got like 3 left. Anyway, so we're trying to talk about toys, and we got really sidetracked because we got into Dobby.
Yeah.
So what do you like? You got into this. Is there certain things that you collect? Like, is there any line that you have to have? That you're completed
for asking that. Yeah. I don't like admitting this because I'm like, I just pick and choose, right? But like, and then you realize that, well, my uncle just liked one specific type of train all his life, and that was normal, and that wasn't autism. But then I think about how I collect, and I'm like, fuck. So I don't hate you at all, Afflicted Studios, even though you did buy that goddamn Red Death, motherfucker. Yeah, Matthew fucking nailed it. I don't know. There's a one DC fucking multiverse figure that I want, and it's Dark Knight Metal. It's when Batman and the Flash merged. Not fucking whatever. And son of a bitch. It was at a bidding thing on whatnot, and that was the only figure I was really hoping for. But no, he cleaned up. It's awesome. So Matthew's right. It's Mafex Hush. If somebody was like, hey, you want to sell your fucking Reign of Superman figures? Yeah, I do. take them. But I want. What up, Woody? Here's a good man right there. And but yeah, Mafex fucking Hush, man. Like, did you smoke 2 joints before you smoked 2 joints? We didn't talk about Sublime.
It's because I hate them.
I think your punk rock card is gone now.
Sublime.
Yeah, man, come on. I mean, they're no fucking Guar.
Damn right they're not.
But Matthew's right. There's only one Mafex. I realized this the other day. There's only one Mafex figure I don't have, and I'm not gonna fucking buy him. It's the stealth suit fucking Halo jump Batman. And like he's got this thing on his face.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah, it can't be removed. All that shit's like glued on there, and I'm like, why the fuck would I want this?
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, nope. Everything else is oh fuck. Everybody hates Sublime but me, apparently. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm not sure if Allison's saying she hates it. She just says it's the equivalent of a peroxide enema.
Hey, no judgment for me. If that's what you're into. That's,
But I mean, when you say you're completist on that, I mean, how many figures are there?
All right, so I got to name them off because I can't fucking do math. Blue Batman, Black Batman, Hush, Joker, Harley, Riddler, Scarecrow, Nightwing, Catwoman, Stealth Suit Batman. If I'm missing one, Matthew, tell me. I think there's 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's 10. But there's going to be more. We're finally getting a Tim Drake Robin, which people have been asking for from Mafex for forever. And we're finally getting a Ra's al Ghul, and this is all from Hush. We're getting Batgirl from Hush, even though she was on a panel for 5 minutes in a flashback scene. And those are big deals. Poison Ivy! Poison Ivy! I did say Catwoman. I didn't say Poison Ivy. Fucking Woody. My man. So there's 11. Ra's al Ghul is a big deal. That's one of my favorite Batman villains of all time. We're getting a Doomsday. We're probably going to get a long-haired Superman. We're also getting, unfortunately, my favorite X-Men version figures, which fuck. The Age of Apocalypse is my favorite X-Men run, that whole thing. And they're coming out with figures of those, and we've seen the Cyclops and we've seen the Wolverine, and I went, oh, there's $100 down the drain. Cool. So that's gonna happen.
Now, if I remember correctly, I kind of felt the same way, but if I remember, they don't really give you much.
You get 6 pairs of hands, you get multiple heads, and you get a body.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much.
That's fair. But I mean, with a Captain America, there's 6 pairs of hands, there's 2 shields, there's 3 head sculpts, there's a cowl, and this thing in the Talia might be happening, Tristan, I'm not sure. This thing I bought for $100, but I guess it goes for more because I don't know. I don't care. I just was like, hey, it's Captain America. Fucking A, I need him, And
the only reason why I ask about the Age of Apocalypse because I love it. I have all the Marvel Legends, and some of them are not the greatest figures, admittedly.
No, they're not. That Jean Grey can't fucking stand to save her life.
No, not really.
No,
but some of them are actually still pretty good.
The build away. Sorry.
Oh, the Colossus is amazing.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite pieces.
I'm with you. He's right up there. But some of the stuff, like the Cyclops, there's not too much to him.
No, there's really not. I think he's getting an optic blast for the one eye that he has, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
I would say that everything they gave you with the Wolverine is what he needs. The claw, The problem was the head sculpt looks so bad. So bad. And the way it's on the neck, it looks awful.
Yeah,
But
you're not
tomorrow,
wrong.
like, I know I have him. Oh, I actually put him up flying. Night Gray, awesome figure.
Mm-hmm.
The Sabretooth, good figure. Not a lot of articulation.
No,
I think this Magneto head is still one of the best face sculpts they've ever done.
you're not wrong. It looks exactly like the comic.
Yeah, and I think that Magneto is awesome.
Because he is.
And I don't even have that sculpt on it. I have the other one.
I traded out his hands. I gave him the more full.
Okay.
I can't remember what his hands were like red or fucking something. I just did the purple ones on there. It looks better because it looks great.
But I will say this: the longer and longer that I don't get any GI Joes, the more and more I start looking at other stuff.
Yeah, you're crazy about the classified, right? Like you're nutso about it.
I have every single one.
Yeah, that's
the only thing that I don't have. What is the repaints, because they weren't any different. They were the exact same figure, repainted, but they didn't change the number on it or anything. I only have the repainted Roadblock because he was like $8.
Yeah.
I'll buy him for $8.
See, that's almost the exact opposite of me. Like I bought all the Night Force stuff. I like those repaints, and, I don't give a shit or whatever. But like, I've got like the Joes that I need. Like I've got that retro Duke. He's my Duke. I've got Flint. I've got Lady J. I have like characters that are important to me, and shit. So I was talking to Chad, and we're playing this game called Ghost Recon Wildlands, and you can make your characters look like whatever the fuck you want. And we made our teams look like Joes, like G.I. Joes, right? And the first thing that I do is like I want to make my character look like Shockwave. This is important. And I go, why the fuck do I want to make Shockwave right off the bat? This was my first connection as an adult with G.I. Joe that was besides he looks cool. And like from there, I was like, holy fuck, and like I'm in this now. And like I get to play as Shockwave in a shooting game. I'm happy, So
is it weird? You and Chad are playing, and you guys build it Joe's guys look like Joe's.
Yeah.
Is it weird that yours is so much bigger than his because he likes the small Joe's? I'm wondering, like, is that weird? Like,
no, they're all the same size in the game, so it's fine.
That's strange.
That's true. Okay. But it's cool because the other people we play with, there's like a guy that not Roadblock, but Rock and Roll and a couple other characters. It's cool. It's fun. So we have a good time with it. And
there is a reason why I actively avoid
video games.
Because
you'll get addicted.
Yes, I know exactly the road that I would go down. I have too much other stuff that I want to do. Mm-hmm. And I avoid. And my son has wanted me in the past, and I can't do it because I know exactly where I would be.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and when I was skating all the time, it was way different too because I'd rather just go ride my skateboard.
Yeah. I am, man. Like I'm finding that balance pretty hard lately because for the longest time I didn't give a shit about video games, right? And then I find out like friends in the toy community play video games, and so every Saturday I'm fucking right there with fucking Bardo, and we're playing Fortnite with a bunch of other people, and like I forgot how much fucking fun that is, and like that built into the Old Republic, which I play a lot, and fucking that's where my streams come from for the most part, where I'm playing fucking Star Wars, and it's Star Wars that hasn't been touched by Disney. And it's just it feels like home when I play it. It feels like home for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's $15 a month if I want to keep a subscription, and of course I do. So,
Well, it's funny. My daughter has a Switch, which she's had for a long time.
Yeah.
And she never played it. And so I stopped paying for the membership.
Right. Why the fuck would you if she's not going to use it?
She was using the Switch to watch YouTube and shit. You want to talk about like a waste of $200-300? I forget how much we paid for it.
And it was like $300 when they first came out. Yeah.
It wasn't right when they first came out, but she wanted it, and then all of a sudden she started playing Animal Crossing again, and I was like, okay, we can. And then but then she starts telling me how like she can't get online because she doesn't have. And I was like, well, I stopped paying for it because you didn't do it. I'm like, are you playing? Yeah, okay. So I'm like, well, and she went to it. There's like a free membership for a month, but there's already an account. There's already an account set up. So she hits it. I'm like, well, I guess I go, let me know when it's going to charge because I don't know where. I have no idea where it's going to charge to. And she tells me, I think it's supposed to charge in a couple of days. I'm like, okay. But I have no idea where the count is. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I found out where it's charging to. I found out what credit card it goes to.
Kick ass. That's
like,
half the battle.
Yeah, it's like $4.26 or $4.23 a month, I think. So
nice.
I'm like, hey Olivia, I'm like, I found out where it's charging to. Not that it matters, but I'm like, I found out. So, but she started playing that again, and I was very close to buying my own Switch just so I could play old Nintendo games.
Oh, that's a slippery slope, my friend.
And that right there, see, and I knew exactly what I would end up doing. And this is when I was skating a lot. And I'm like, I won't go skating. I'll sit here and I'll play video games. I'll play Kung Fu and Super Mario Brothers and Excite Bike. Yes, these
Excite Bike's the shit.
I know. When you learn how to angle that bike down to go down the wedge ramps, or when they tumble, it's
yeah.
I absolutely loved all that stuff.
Yeah.
So what else are you in? Like what else are you collecting other than the mop packs? And are you mostly into the higher end stuff?
I want to say no, but I think that might be misleading too.
Okay.
So I like Mythic Legions. I don't have a lot or anything, but I posted a picture in your Discord about with my these other toys. I don't, maybe it's Show Me Your Toys. I don't know, but it's all the mythics I have, and now anyway, because I used to have quite a bit, but I sold most of them because I needed money. But I threw them up there with my Hasbro D&D collection, and it's mostly elves and like a vampire and the blue frosty elf lady.
Yep.
Dallas. Yeah. And I have the moose, the centaur. I have an unopened headless horseman.
Such a good figure.
Yeah.
The horses are so good.
I like the battle moose personally.
I don't have that. I have 3 horses, and because they can be used with Classified, Marvel
They can be used with Gotham by Gaslight Batman.
Exactly, and again, they're so good.
Yeah.
And I got, well, I take that back. I had the Headless Horseman because I did order that, but I had Dubin or Duban. And at Joe-Fest last year, they had the horse, and that's when they sold their stuff cheaper. And it was the last day, and I went, all right, I'm gonna get it. And I needed to because they fit so good together. But I get it, like, for me, so this is really weird because like everyone said once you go down the Mythic Legions, like you're done.
Nah.
Now I didn't go down that road. Like I can understand. I fully understand the love that people have for them because when you look at it, their detail is second to none. Their paint is second to none. Soft goods, accessories, right?
It's great.
Articulation, clearly not the greatest, but I think you know that going into it.
Yeah.
Now, I am all in on G.I. Joe, and I have been a G.I. Joe kid since the 80s.
Yeah,
It is. I mean, when someone says, "Hey, what is your favorite line?" I don't even have to think about it.
it's JoJo.
Yeah, it's
Right.
general. There's not even a close second.
Right.
Like there's not even a close second. It's like saying, "What's your favorite sport?" Skateboarding. What's your second? I don't know.
It's not a sport. It's breakdancing.
You know what? Someone argued with me that it's not a sport once, and I went,
Skateboarding is one of the most physical things that you can do with your body. The fuck, it's not a sport.
"No,
It's fucked.
no, no." Now his point was he looked at sports as something that you win and lose, that you don't have to judge, but that eliminates boxing, right?
No, but go on.
Well, boxing sometimes is left to judging.
And it's also points. Like every time you hit somebody, that's a point, right?
No, well, I don't know how it's judged because we've seen people that have clearly should have won that have lost, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's judging, right?
I mean, that's all that I'm saying, right? So,
Yeah.
so he's like, I'm not saying it's not an athletic endeavor, but I don't consider it a sport. And I'm like, so you don't consider figure skating a sport? He's like, no.
But
he's like, I believe it's competition, but I'm like, all right, Ryan, I don't agree with you, but he wasn't putting it down, but he was like, a team like you golf. Yeah. There's a winner and a loser.
I mean, even if you go to a skate competition, there's a winner and a loser.
But it's all by judging.
Right. I mean, if it were the 90s and Tony Hawk showed up, then you fucking lost. It's just that simple.
If it's vert.
Yeah, if it was vert.
But like my buddy Tony, I grew up with him. One of the best skaters I'd ever met. Yeah. He talked, and I didn't realize he was such a competition guy when we got older. And he talked about when he goes, I was in a competition, and he goes, I came in second place, but I should have won. He said even some of the people that were judging, and even the guy that won came up to me, and he's like, dude, I should have won. You should have won. And the only reason why he won was because the competition was put on by the team and skate shop that the guy skated that won. And Tony, was one of the smartest people you'll ever meet. And anything he does, he's great at. And he said, I made sure anytime that I was in a competition again, I made sure they could not give me number. Like someone was going to have to beat me. He goes, I wasn't just going to be good enough to beat the person. I was going to beat them as bad as I could. And to hear him like talk like that, you're like, I never seen the side of you.
It's kind of dope, right? When your friend like wants to be like, this is why I'm the best at this, motherfucker.
Because he wasn't like, I did everything and this guy was just better. Because Tony doesn't have that type of ego, you know?
Right.
He knows how good he is, and he knows that when people are better. But to hear him like talk like that, I'm like, I don't see, like, I didn't ever really see that growing up because we didn't really care. I didn't realize he got so into it. But it was just a really weird conversation that I had with an old friend of mine about. Yeah. And I was like, whatever. But I think of skateboarding as a sport. But again, if you don't, I don't care. It doesn't change.
No, I definitely do. I'm just saying in general, but no, I definitely think I've always thought of skating as a sport. You know, it takes skill, it takes discipline, and it takes, you know.
Matthew says, one of my employees quit skating when he lost teeth. At least he replaced them.
That's good, because you don't want to walk around without any teeth in your mouth. I'm going to put these back in now.
It does change the way you sound.
In Retro Freaks 2, one of my lines is actually since Funko went out of business, or Funko came into business in 1996 and picked up the slack from Beanie Babies when they were on their way out. And I did that scene without my teeth, and we delayed filming for an hour because people fucking lost their shit about it. Like, Golderman's like trying to fucking direct, and he's just not happening. The sound guy's fucking losing it. And they're like, we can't use that. I was like, oh, come on.
Why can't? Whatever.
And
it makes sense.
That's a fun time, but
to a point.
So that's so weird that you bring that up because I don't have an answer for you. There isn't like one line that I'm like, yeah. It's really
I
fucking
wish I
weird,
could say
dude.
that. So,
Yeah,
so like for me, like G.I. Joe's like that is my thing, right?
yeah.
But and I got into Valaverse, and
Mhm.
Valaverse was a lot of because we didn't know how deep the classified line was going to go,
Right.
and they were really good support troops. And I think it's well documented the reason why I stopped collecting Valaverse and sold my stuff off. But then I got into Operation Monster Force, which is, I've said before, one of the most original, unoriginal lines you could ever see.
I'll be right back.
You know, it is. They took stories of 100 years and turned them into military and gave them this awesome story. So I'm totally into it. But if all the military stuff was taken away, there's no more military toys, I would probably be all into like Mythic Legions, the sword and sorcery. And I don't know why, because it's nothing that, I mean, I've always been entertained by it and always been intrigued by it. But that type of stuff definitely does. It intrigues me more than most of the other stuff. You know, it wouldn't be Marvel Legends. You know, Street Fighter is so niche that it definitely wouldn't be that. But what the hell is that?
This is Monster Force
Oh,
from
okay.
1994.
So I meant Operation Monster Force.
I know. I know what you did. I just was like,
Did I say Monster Force? Did
yeah.
I?
You said Operation. You said Operation Monster Force, and I was like,
Okay.
no.
I did say Operation because
Yeah.
I am stickler about saying that because of the piece of shit that gave me a copyright strike. Who fucking? Oh, you know I got a false copyright strike last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a false
I
copyright strike twice by the same guy. All he did was cut and paste like weeks apart, and he said that he was commissioned by Monster Force, and I used his pictures without permission. Although no one had ever heard of this guy. Um, Bill, who I specifically talked to, said, "Nope, you can use anything that you want." And I don't know who this guy is, but in his complaint, he said Monster Force, not even Operation Monster Force. Not to mention, you wouldn't have been commissioned by Operation Monster Force. You would have been commissioned by Fresh Monkey Fiction.
right. Exactly. There's two different animals.
But YouTube is so fucking difficult to deal with
Yeah.
that only one I could overturn.
This is the only Monster Force figure that I have. Operation Monster Force.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And
I heard you talking about this, and I had some.
you disagree with me, which completely like fine. I get it 100%.
But I also agree with you, if it makes sense.
It does make sense.
About one thing.
What's the one thing? Go ahead.
You were complaining about the side pouch, not the pouch, any of the pouches, and obviously the holster there, and that you were saying how it's just an awful system. I disagree. I think it is an excellent system. I think it is executed poorly.
We're in agreement about that. Yeah.
It's they're too long, so they stick out. The mushroom should bulge a little more.
You like it when your mushroom bulges, Lawrence?
I do.
So this is the only figure that I bought, right? And it was the test, right? Like we all buy the one to test. And my first initial thoughts were, fuck this. I wasted $40 after I got him open, after I did all the things. But like looking at him now and like realizing what this guy can be in my collection as opposed to what the lore and all that shit is, I think I like this guy. I think that I'm going to use him for other things, but I think that after it's all said and done, I'm okay with it. I just wish the fucking pouches were different. That's the grand scheme of things. I
am
like
with you
the paint on the gun. Yeah.
So I've ordered more. I have all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And PayPal credit used to be over $100. You get 6 months, so it just gave me time to pay it down with everything that everything that I'm earning. Now they changed it to $150. If you're at $80, it's easy to find something that'd be $20 to hit. If you're at $80 to put another $70 on to $150, a lot harder to justify.
Yeah.
I ordered more than a couple, or I ordered a couple extra Operation Monster Force when I needed to go above that 100 mark.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them, I turned into this guy using Thor's head.
Yeah, so you made him from that movie.
Yes. And it fits perfect because Top Gun Retro Toys made his gun with the claw suppressor.
That's dope.
So then I'm sitting here with this guy, this figure, and I'm like, I have this Thor who I hate because he's out of scale. Because I don't know what idiot Marvel legend. Clearly, they fired the guy, and he went over to McFarlane, and he was able to screw up all of their scales, and because this store is like way big, he should fit in with the 7-inch figures.
Mm-hmm.
That's how big he is. But
they fucked up the Mafex one too.
Did they?
Oh yeah, he's a little guy.
Okay.
Yeah, like
not the only little guy. He's like, I'm a little guy too.
He is. If he ever finds out that he's a little guy, I don't know what will happen.
All those little dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman just goes, really?
Henry used to fucking herd Emily's parents' dogs, and they were big dogs. Like Henry would like herd them like cattle, and like they'd just be like, "What the fuck do we do? We can't do anything to this guy." Like, okay, we're going this way, I guess.
It's like Scrappy Doo.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt I was so impressed with the Operation Monster Force figures, and I was all in on them to begin with. There are some things that I really went some little some paint scuffs and everything like that, but I gotta say I was a little everything else was awesome other than the pouches, and well, not just pouches, but holsters and sheaths. You're on mute.
I know. I didn't want you all to hear your Dobby barking. So,
everyone loves the dogs when they bark.
Oh yeah, they love it.
And it doesn't bother Roman. He don't care. But I guess let's quickly do this because, damn, where's it at?
Here comes the
You said.
Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
And Woody 222 with a $49.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Don't speak of this. Nice job, Punk and Double J. And you're definitely gonna get a.
It's a good bot.
What the hell?
Welcome to the creamery.
Just because I haven't heard it in a while.
I don't know if maybe farting and then welcome to the creamery should follow like that, but that's just me.
Well, you know what? Then he can get this one here.
Fucking Phil Collins.
Man, I like Phil Collins.
I do too.
What?
You want more farts for $49.99 super chat? You can get more than one there.
You get all the farts you want.
Not too many, because then I feel like I gotta go take a crap. Allison, I disagree. Phil Collins is good, but look, and Dobby has finally showed up. The whole reason why I had you on.
Mission accomplished.
Look at him.
He was asleep on his California king size bed.
Now, how old is Dobby?
Dobby is 6.
Okay, so he's not that old.
No.
And then what is their life expectancy?
So let's see. Scooter and Dozer both lived to be 20.
Okay.
Aries lived to be 20. Casey made it to 16. Fritzy made it to 16. So Anywhere from 16 to 20 years.
Okay. Those little dogs. I had we had a Shih Tzu that was 18 before my dad had, put her down because she was having like seizures and stuff. And she
Yeah.
had one eye from about time she was like 3.
Yeah. So Henry had seizures up until we moved to Oklahoma, and we found out that it was the heat that was making him have seizures.
Oh, okay.
And so when he got here, like, dude, like he had a yard and everything. Like he was so happy. And then unfortunately he passed away on the way to see my parents on a holiday. And then Dobby, and then we had to move into the apartment, and now Dobby has a huge yard to play in, and he's like the happiest dog in the world again. So that's all that matters to me is, I could fucking eat ramen and stale bread, but as long as Dobby gets his food that he needs and then occasional medication and he's taken care of, that's all I care about.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Here we go. Money talk.
And Todd C with the $1.99 super chat saying to cover the tariff of Woody's super chat.
You're a good boy, boy.
Matrix, man, Roman will and Roman never does them loud. Every now and then, but we'll just be sitting there and be like, for the love of God.
Dude, Dobby's farts will wake the dead.
It's so bad. It's like, really, dude? Like, come on.
Like, when Dobby... So, I used to give Dobby this wet food that was well-balanced and everything for him. But, dude, when he would fart and he was, like, just dead asleep, he'd wake up and look at me and be pissed off. And it's like, no, dude, that was fucking you.
I've had Roman do that numerous times to me, too.
Yeah.
Where they fart, and then they look at you like, what, dude, really? And you're like, I didn't do it.
Right?
It was you.
That was you, asshole.
And we can smell it.
Mm-hmm.
No, Roman is such a he's such a character. He is a moper. So when Sheldon is over, like when Susan goes out of town and I have to, and I need to watch him, he will mope when Sheldon is by me. Or let's say I'm on the couch and Olivia has put her bag down, but he doesn't want to jump over it, even though there's room that on the couch and he can jump over the bag because technically it's not even in his way. And he will sit there and stare at me with this little moping, like, I didn't tell you to go over there. He's when Olivia's here, he goes into bed with her normally. He hasn't recently, which is really odd. But he'll go into bed with Olivia until I'm laying down. He'll come into my room. If I'm in bed and I'm on my phone, he will not get up in my bed until I put the phone down.
Yeah.
Then he gets up, and I don't always sleep underneath the covers. And if I'm not under the covers, he doesn't know what to do because he buries himself under the covers. It's really, really strange.
So Dobby has to have his head covered when he's in bed. And so, like, he'll dig and, like, get underneath underneath the quilt, underneath the blanket and the sheet. And, like, he won't come out for hours. He's happy.
He'll sleep in there almost all night.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is, now Dobby's going to be different, but he'll want to get underneath, but he'll be on half of it. And I'm like, I can't move the cover. Now Dobby's smaller, so it's easy, right? I can't, like, and plus I have a Tempur-Pedic bed. So if anyone's ever had a Tempur-Pedic, you sink into it.
Yes.
So you have an almost 70-pound dog that is sinking into it on the covers, and he's trying to get underneath it. And I'm like, you need to get off the covers because I can't lift it up anymore.
You need to move.
Yes. This is your issue. All right. It's only becoming my issue because you want underneath and I want to go to bed.
All right. So I can't answer your question. There's not really a line that I'm like hardcore into.
We're still talking about toys.
Yeah, kind of. I had it on my mind and like there's not anything except for, what we talked about earlier, but I kind of pick and choose like what I like and what I don't like, and yeah, that's
So
really
Street
fucking
Fighter.
weird.
Do you have any of this Jada Street Fighters?
Oh, fucking A, man. So like I see Ryu Player 2 and I'm like, that's the Ryu that I always got stuck playing because my friends had Street Fighter 2. So I buy them. Don't need any more. Ah, fuck, Ken came out. Well, I mean, I can't have Ryu without Ken. Oh, and this Chun-Li is cheap. Fuck. Oh, and there's Bison. Fuck. And like, I like to tell myself that I don't collect Street Fighter, but no, I collect Street Fighter.
It would have been a lot easier because I didn't play Street Fighter. My friends did, but I got to know most of the characters. It would have been a lot easier when that Chun-Li came out. Was Chun-Li the first one? There's Chun-Li and Ken, right?
No,
Was it
Bruce Lee. Fei Long. Not Fei Long. Was it Fei Long?
was Fei Long the
Matthew.
first one? I know there was 3 that came out, but either way, if they would have come out and not been good, it wouldn't have been hard.
Well, dude,
The
like,
problem was they're so good.
this is not Street Fighter, but this is their Universal Monster line.
I just saw that.
One of my
Oh
favorite.
no! I just saw the Nika one.
This is one of my favorite lines, and there's only like 7 figures.
Matthew raves about that.
Yeah,
He raves about that line.
it's great. Like, I remember finding the Invisible Man, and I was like, I'm done. I have them all. And so that's just where I'm at now. It's great.
No, I have avoided. Again, I'm not a gamer, and Mega Man was not one that I played.
Right?
But I've avoided getting them, and your buddy Angelo was like, "Come on, you buy all kinds of stuff, just get one." But I
Motherfucker.
avoided it because I'm a good boy, and I didn't need another line. But I look at them and I'm like, they're so cool. They're small. They don't take up a lot of space. They're not real expensive, but when they're small and don't take up much space is one thing. But when you buy 20 of them,
They start taking up space.
it's kind of like the O-rings. And
Man.
there is our Nika person right there. Baldy Fucks Reviews. Just got in, wanted to say hi. Hey, Jeff.
Hey,
I
man.
have to catch the show from the start in the AM.
There's going to be some part 2 and a fast forward through.
Nah, not Baldy. He's all about it.
Nika's. So the problem with Mega Man, and I'm going to avoid this as long as I can, is that if I get Mega Man, I'll go, well, I need a Capcom versus Marvel shelf. Fuck. And it'll just escalate from there, and I try to keep my collecting on like an even kilter. So I'm not going to get too involved. Meanwhile, here's this knockoff Venom that I can't put down. Oh, also, this Spider-Man. Also, this Spider-Man. Also, this Punisher. But I pick and choose what I collect. Also, this Black Series Ezra. Marvel Direct? No problem. Gotcha with this Venom.
So what about Maximum Spider-Man?
It's the best Marvel Legends Spider-Man that anyone can own right now.
I'm going to say something, and people are going to, oh my God. I told you I will watch Bobby when I see him talking about something or that I think that it's informative. Yeah. I thought his video on Maximum Spider-Man was excellent.
Me too.
Because first off, he did not come off as a prick attacking anyone. And I thought the way that he broke down what the cost should be, comparing a normal Marvel Legends figure and using the breaking down the accessories and then looking at one of his accessory packs with all the accessories that it has for $13 or $14, whatever, and then putting it with that and saying this should be about a $40 by adding a Marvel Legends, $25, along with like what his accessory pack by using counts.
Yeah, no, I
thought
understand.
I thought it was done very well.
Mhm.
But-
I like it when he talks industry stuff and he goes through it like that. That is what I enjoy when I want toy stuff from Bobby Bella.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know, and it's something that I don't know why those Saturday shows populate. I don't believe I'm subscribed to Valaverse anymore. But stuff like that, again, I can take my dislike of someone out of it to watch to see what they have to say. And I thought he broke it down really well.
He did.
He was very complimentary of the figure too.
I mean, in all honesty, my local buddy has one, and I gave him shit, so much shit, and he was like, "Okay, fat ass, just fucking take it and mess with it." And I was like, "No problem." And I pulled this guy out of my pocket because I had him in the pocket with me. And I was like, "Let's fucking put him through the paces." We do. And I go, "Shit." And so then I take $14 Spider-Man and I put it through the paces. And I go, okay. Between the 3 figures, of the 2 figures, that is the best Marvel Legends Spider-Man that you will have. When it comes to Spider-Man, though, I still prefer Mayfix. That's just how it is. But that's also a different price point. That's a whole different fucking ballgame. That's going from that's being a professional T-ball player and then going into like the fucking hit for the Rockies or something. You know, it's whatever.
I don't think the Rockies actually hit.
No, well they do when they play Arizona.
They're like I believe like the worst team right now.
Man, anytime the Rockies ever went up against the fucking Diamondbacks got their asses handed to them.
So Tristan's saying, I like Maximum Spidey, and he cost me $90 over here. So I have a hard time sometimes when it comes to price points. Though I have no issue saying I don't know what things cost, but again, if I'm looking at not like a regular Marvel Legend, kind of how Bobby had broken it down, and then broke it down to like his accessory pack. And again, you say what you want, but he kind of showed off his accessory pack and said, "Hey, there's paint apps on it, just like their stuff."
Yeah.
You know? And I went, that actually makes sense. It's the same thing that I do when I talk about like the Super 7 Ultimates, $55. And then I grab a Marvel Legend, or not a Marvel Legend, a Mythic Legion, and you're like, all right, let's talk about it. Yeah, they have almost the same type of articulation. But let's look at the paint, the accessories, the sculpt. And
what happens if you touch it wrong?
Yeah.
Or look at it wrong?
And Super 7 is a bigger company. Maybe not today, but they were.
Not for much longer.
But my thing is, I don't want a bunch of Spider-Man. I'm not a Spider. I'm not that guy that has to have every Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now, give me a maximum Snake Eyes, and I look at them, and I'm like, oh, so you gave me articulated toes and a little bit better, like, splits? I might be thinking the same thing. Like, did I really need... No, then again, I just spent $75 or will spend $75 on, a Snake Eyes with a giant polar bear, or was it 65? Either way, it was more expensive. And I didn't blink an eye at it.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing.
Like, yes.
Like, I was at a shop, and like, this is the whole reason that I got that Storm Shadow. So Storm Shadow version, whatever the fuck it is, in the classified version, the dude wanted $70 for it. Inbox, everything else. And I was like, get fucked. So I went to the other store, worked a deal, and I paid $80 for that guy total, and got all my comics too. So
the Mezco one.
Yeah, the Mezco Storm Shadow. And
the most frustrating figure I have.
The most frustrating, greatest figure. Yeah, like I really like him. Yeah,
he looks amazing.
Yeah,
You have to pose him and then put everything on him.
He is currently being held up with his stand in a case behind me, and he's not fucking going anywhere.
Really?
He's got his swords on his back.
I have my swords. I think the swords. I believe he also has the. Not his swords on his back. No, I think his swords are at. Well, he's holding his swords, but the backpack is on there.
Mm-hmm.
But that backpack, like, it just falls off.
Yeah.
Like you tap it and then it falls off.
Yeah, I didn't bother.
Because those little pegs are really, really small.
Yeah. So, like, if we're gonna talk Marvel Legends, let's talk Marvel Legends, right? So, like, this thing, I got for $41 after points and like everything else, right? And like, to me, $41 is the perfect amount for something like this, not the 51 or whatever the fuck they had it at. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like, I break that rule though, like all the time. Because I'm like, well, fuck, I really want this, and like, sure, it's worth this, but like, you know, so like, I almost bought this off eBay because I couldn't find him anywhere, and then I did find him, and he was retail, and I bought him, but I was willing to spend $40 for this.
I'm
But I'll
glad you
bitch about
did
it.
because they're all over.
Right, and like, but I'll bitch about a $50 Spider-Man, right? So like, at that point, you're just like, what are you fucking doing, Jeff? Like, and you know, I was off kilter, and I was wrong to be that angry about it.
You aren't the only one.
No, I wasn't,
Not
but I
bad,
take
like-
responsibility for myself, right?
Yeah.
So like that, I can admit that I'm wrong, and I can admit that I shouldn't have maybe done that. I'm still pissed off that we have 16 fucking Spider-Man though, and we're only 5 months into the year.
But I'll say it again. They're not all Peter Parker.
This is true. Oh, okay. That's totally.
But
I know.
That's the same as saying that, hey, you know what? We've got 16 G.I. Joes. I've got no Cobra. But they're different characters. Now, we haven't got 16 G.I. Joes. We haven't got 16 G.I. Joes altogether. I think we've gotten 5.
Yeah, we've gotten 5 Joes. I really want dial tone, by the way. Anybody has a dial tone, let me know.
I think everyone wants dial tone.
I know.
I don't. I have them.
Of course you do.
That one got lost somewhere. I think that shipping container went down to the bottom of the ocean because there's no reason that and the Arctic bats.
Can I ask you something about McFarlane and like
Me?
did he owe the money, like the mob fucking money? Like what the fuck happened there? Like 2 trucks back to back, and like, yeah, Toddy, you owe us a favor. We're gonna hijack these 2 trucks.
Wait, there's a second truck? What's the second one?
I can't remember what was on it, but I saw that it was another thing happened where like it got hijacked. So 2 trucks have been hijacked.
Okay, so
I made a story about it on my Instagram and like played the Godfather music behind it and was like, does he owe someone a favor? Like, what the fuck's going on here?
well, there was somebody that said that they know those train yards really well.
Yeah.
And they were saying that shipping containers get hijacked all the time going through there in California.
No. Yeah, all right.
But you think like you would hear about it more often, right?
Right, you think so, but like some toys get stolen and we're like, fucking somebody call Batman now. Get this shit solved. But you know, the life-saving medicine gets hijacked. But like the life-saving medication that gets robbed, we're like, yeah, these things happen.
And I swear I've seen that page puncher too.
I know I have.
Supergirl?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't I buy them all? Now I wish I would have bought every single one I saw because I think they jumped up in price, didn't they?
Okay. I still have some McFarlane.
And all of a sudden everyone wanted them.
I actually still have some McFarlane on that row there. It goes into my superpower stuff. So
yeah, it's people want stuff they can't get.
Yeah,
like hooded Cobra Commander. People only want it because they can't get it. I'm not saying people don't want it, but the only reason why people are so mad about it is because they won't make it.
You know what, though? I think that's a good thing that they won't make it, but here's why. a lot of customizers have come out of the woodwork and have been able to improve their craft by painting blue hooded Cobra Commander heads, right? And
Yeah.
like it's good for the little guy because people will pay $20-$30 for a little bit of head.
Yep.
And I think that's great. I think that's cool that the customizers have something to fucking go for. Once Hasbro realizes that they're losing like 2% of a dollar, I'm pretty sure they'll be like, no, here he comes. He's coming this way. No, don't worry about it. So,
they've really dug their heels in on that one.
It's
But whatever.
It sucks.
I mean,
it sucks. Phil. So it sucks because like I said, I came into G.I. Joe late, right? I think that ignoring or not wanting to do Hooded Cobra Commander because of the reasons that they alluded to or said, I don't know the full story, is fucking bullshit. But that's just me. So
you mean it's bullshit as in it's a bullshit story, or
I think it's a bullshit story because I don't see a problem. I don't see that hood line up with what they think that hood is. I see it as an executioner's hood.
It's not they. It's one person.
Yeah.
And I've been told by numerous people.
Oh.
So
There you go.
Bobby Valid told the story. All right. Bobby Valid told the story because he was there when it happened.
Oh.
Mark Weber, the first and only time I'd ever met him before I was doing live streams, before the show went on, he told us the story because he was there at the same time. Okay. The Bonaventure flat out said that, yeah, I'm the one that said that. Like he says it in an article. He says, yeah, people blame me, and yeah, I said that. At Joe5t, a former employee said, we were told this. And he said, for 2 weeks, we searched the internet looking for blue hooded Klansmen, and we couldn't find anything. And we kept going back, and they kept saying, it's not getting done. Just drop it. With that said, our friend Allison used to live next door to somebody that was a blue Klansman. So they are real. I
understand.
I'm with you. It is stupid. We all know what it is. A matter of fact, if they're really that concerned, you might want to look at the Zartan retro card.
Oh, yeah, that's...
If you look at his shadow, it has a pointy hood.
Yeah.
And it always has because they tried redoing it. Like when they did it. It's okay. We should probably start wrapping it up. It's been 3.5 hours. Dobby needs to go outside, as we can hear. But before we do, tell everyone what you're doing, where they can find you, and what you have coming up.
So, you can find me on my YouTube's channel. I think Punk might have actually put it in the shit below. So Sunday through Saturday, 12 to 3 Central, I'm playing a video game. Sometimes I have a friend with me. Sometimes I don't. Thursdays at 6:30, I do Universally Redundant, which is I pick a topic, I ramble on about it. Today was something different. Today I talked about G.I. Joe and what it means.
$1 every time you say rambling, just so you know.
Yes, exactly.
I'm trademarking it, so
thank you. So Universally Redundant. Today was different. It was Joe and what it means to everybody. I should have asked more people, but it's not a big deal. Saturdays at 6 Eastern, I'm producing Smoking Joe's, and I'll pipe in every once in a while. And for the last 15 minutes of the show, I'll hang out. But I try to keep my involvement in that small and let Shane and Woody cook. I just like being able to highlight chats and everything else, So I like helping them out. And So besides every day of the week, that's where I'm at.
And you know what you just said about, oh, I should have done this. You'll learn as you go along, but you're always going to say, God, because I promise you, by tomorrow, I'm gonna be like, damn it, I forgot to ask this. Damn it, I forgot to ask this. You know, but you'll get better as you go along, and
Yeah.
it's definitely, this whole YouTube thing is a huge learning curve. I did a show a few months ago with somebody, and when we got done, we were talking after off stage, and he said, "Does it bother you when people tell you this is easy?" I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Does it bother you that like people say that's just easy?" I'm like, "Do you mean like?" I go, "Do you mean like my reviews or my live streams?" Because people tell me like you don't edit anything; it's so easy, and they're half right, half wrong. But he's like, "No, like the live streams," and I'm like, "They don't really bother me, but they don't understand what goes into it. They don't know how much time I spend, and I'll say this over and over. They don't know how much time I spend creating slides, writing down the format of what I'm going to do for Monday nights. At the same time, they just want to tune in and be entertained. We don't care all the work that went into making Deadpool and Wolverine. We just wanted to be entertained for 2 hours, and we were, right? So, and I'm not saying that people don't care but they don't see it, and their end game isn't that. They want to tune in on Monday nights. Now they want to tune in on Tuesday for me, right? Not just me, but Baldy and Speck and Terry, and sometimes Tony. I like that.
That's good.
It's like they don't know what goes into it. They don't know, like the vintage stuff, the classic stuff that I'm doing, how much time I'm taking, that I'm actually starting to try and build stuff, buy stuff so I can complete stuff if possible.
Yeah.
Like they don't see that. And again, that's not their concern.
Right. They want to be entertained.
So, yeah. But as you go along, you'll get better, because one thing is, I can tell by the talks that we've had, the stuff you've gone through, being on other YouTube shows and leaving it, you want to do this. Like,
Absolutely.
you want to, like, I think one of the biggest problems with guys doing YouTube that don't admit they want to actively grow their channels.
Mm-hmm.
And why are you going to continue to tell yourself that you don't want to?
That's the thing too, is that like every day when I'm streaming, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to interrupt you.
Nope.
At the top of every hour, I take a 5-minute break and I simply ask, please like and share. I've never done that before I started doing this, and like, I don't want to say this, but it's really fucking showing. Like, I'm not anywhere near like 1,000. I'm still 500 off, give or take, but like, I'm getting there, and I'm having fun. Like, my watch hours are met, and like, I'm good to go. I just want to be my talking head stuff, like the Thursday Universal Redundant stuff. I don't want it to be about fucking toys, but I'll use toys as a metaphor for what we're going through with it.
Yeah,
and like, some of the best compliments I've gotten are from like people that I didn't think would like want to watch that shit, and it's like, dude, that was you really put it into perspective for me, and it's like, oh. Okay, and that's, so part of me is like, that's way more rewarding than like the thumbs up. Like, you telling me that you got something from this, that you got a message, and that you can work on yourself through that message, or fucking whatever. That's what I like about my talking head stuff. Video games are fucking whatever. Let's just watch Jeff get mad. That's what they turn me to. So.
Don't worry, people like seeing you get mad, and I don't mean you. They like seeing people get mad.
Oh, dude. Kaiju5t is my mod on Mondays, and he and I will play video games. He'll be my Prima guide, like my Prima official strategy guide.
Okay.
And, like, dude, we just got done with Castlevania 2. Fuck that game. Never again. There were so many times he was like, dude, you just got up and, like, started cursing. And, like, you were across your house, and we heard you. I was like, oh. He's like, I'm making a compilation video. And from what I've seen so far, it's fucking hilarious, dude. Like, why are there so many stairs in here? Did Dracula want me to be fucking winded? If so, mission accomplished, asshole. Just, I don't know.
Go beat Solomon's Key.
Fuck off. Go land an F-14 and Tomcat correctly.
Do you mean in real life or in the Top Gun game?
In the Top Gun game, I don't know.
Because I think I'd have better luck figuring out how to fly a Tomcat, landing on a moving boat, than land it on that fucking game.
No shit, right? Remember I talked about my father escalating anger, right? Mom buys us the NES. We get Mario, we get Ghostbusters, thanks Mom, and we get fucking Top Gun and Duck Hunt. It was that Mario Duck Hunt combo.
Yep.
And Dad is like, oh, Top Gun. Blah, blah, blah. Navy shit. Okay. Dude, the next thing we fucking hear from the living room is fucking goddamn fucking Tomcat. Fucking it's not that fucking hard. All you gotta do is fucking do this and fucking ease the air pressure off and you fucking land. And like my mom and I looked at him and he was like, fuck this. And he went out to the garage.
You also have more than 2 buttons and a joystick that just goes up, down, left, right.
He's got a Wii.
Well, now, but I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, dude, if my old man does watch this, I need to get something. I'm sorry. This is a big part of my life. I'll be right back.
No, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, that Top Gun game is one of the most aggravating games you will ever play. Along with, is it Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls?
Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins? Fucking whatever. Fuck that game.
One of them is impossible to beat.
You're not wrong. It's like,
the other one is Solomon's Key. We played for a long time trying to beat, and there is an end level, unlike Spy Hunter, that just never ends.
Yeah,
but it's so much fun. It's so fun.
This, I don't know if you can see it or not.
Well, I'm gonna full screen you, maybe, if I can remember how to do this.
So
okay.
This is the first time that my dad and I almost won a fishing tournament together. Striper-Rama was a thing in Arizona where you'd go striper fishing all night. It'd be like from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And that was the first time I ever had a beer. I went to grab a soda from the cooler, and I was like, Dad, I got a beer. Is this okay? I'm like fucking 13, 14. And he's like, yeah, go for it. I don't care. Like, and I just remember fishing, like, it's probably one of my favorite things to do still. Afterburner was fucking dope.
The problem with Afterburner was if you were able to get on it, and then you had to have money to fork into it.
It was like a buck for fucking one player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it was a better game that wasn't $1? Turtles in Time.
Anyway.
Or The Simpsons. Yeah. That's where you can find me, though. Oh, Tuesdays with Figure Fight Club. I do shit with them that night, too. So, yeah.
Are you on there every time? I know recently I've seen you when you're on.
Every Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't stream enough.
I'm busy on Tuesdays now.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of double booked on Tuesdays, but you guys don't see me because it's behind the scenes doing another recording for another channel because I'm like, hey, I don't have enough YouTube to do. I should do more.
I have that same problem. I'm always looking for more things to do for YouTube. I don't feel like I'm doing enough.
Yeah, I know. I know what they're not doing, paying enough. So, anyway, if you want any of his links, they're in the description. Instagram and YouTube, so it's easier to find because again, if you're not doing just Jeff with the 5 and the
Underscore.
You ain't gonna find it. You'll find it just Jeff, and you'll be like, oh, okay. Because I kept looking. I'm like, I'm not subscribed. I'm like, oh wait, this guy has like 100,000 subs. That's not the same guy.
It's not me. Nah, that ain't me.
Maybe one day. So,
Maybe one day.
Jeff, thank you very much. I had a great time, and I know when we're done, you're gonna be like, damn, I wanted to say this, or oh, I totally forgot this. We can always talk about things again because I think we're going to be doing. We tend to do a lot of things. We're in the same circles now, so
We are.
So, everyone, thank you guys all for sticking around and watching. You will see me back on Monday. I promise. I did enough lives. I needed a break.
See you all tomorrow.
I finally got broke. And check out Jeff tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday and then Monday again and Tuesday and Wednesday. And you need a job.
I can't work.
There's that too.
Yeah.
There's things that we did not talk about that. See, I'm already thinking, but I got to go.
That's okay.
We'll get into it another time because you got shot once, damn it. I'm just going to leave it with that. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.